G'day and welcome to the Mellow Tiger podcast. I'm your host, Jordan Nurse, and as always, sitting beside me, Bree Wolf.
It's me first. He said me first before he said you.
You even looked at me.
Just to make sure you knew what was
Give
happening.
me a little tease. He's like,
Shit.
this is where you sit, sweetie.
Yeah. This is a pecking order.
There's only up though.
Yeah. And sitting to my left is Josh Ernst.
Hey guys.
How you going?
Well, you're not the camera.
We said hello today.
The awkward cuddle.
That's right, little bro's running the show today.
Yeah, be scared. There's no beatboxing because it's not needed.
No.
But
We did have a little bit of
Spice. Spicy flair.
So he said spat.
Oh no.
You can't say that.
No,
Yeah.
spice.
Okay.
Spicy.
Yeah, right.
So Jordan, you're gonna remind everyone to like and subscribe. Share if you want. Also, I feel a bit yucky about that. I don't like the idea of sharing it.
Why don't you like sharing?
I don't know, it makes me feel weird.
What do you mean?
Who could be watching? I know it's supposed to be anybody.
You're
I don't
recording
know.
yourself. You can't record yourself and be
I
like,
don't know.
what if someone's watching?
It's
Yeah.
like the idea
Oh my God.
of someone I know that doesn't know I do this, and then someone else shares it, and then the person I know sees it and is like, what the fuck?
I show everyone I know. And they go, what the fuck?
I low-key
Is that
do
the
a
show
little
or
bit too.
yourself?
Or
Or
everything, whatever they want.
I had the dude doing the pest control in this house came through the other day, and he like came to this room and he was like,
Sex dungeon. That's what I would think. Sorry,
"This is
continue.
my sex toys. Anything's a dildo if
She's
you
got a
brave
wide
enough."
girth. Swallow that mic whole.
He's like, what do you do here? And I was just like, what do you mean? He goes, what do you do? And I'm like, it's a podcast. He's like, but what do you talk about? And I was just like,
oh yeah.
oh, don't. And I was just like, oh, like spooky stuff. And he like kind of like was like, ha. And I was like, no,
That's when
like,
you jump.
No, seriously, what are you doing?
I was
What are
like,
you
just
doing
get
here?
in the fucking roof and get out. Like,
He just looks at your wall and goes, yeah, no, don't worry about
he
it.
was actually really lovely, like a really lovely dude.
Is he the same one that does mum and dad's?
New
obviously.
dude. That dude died.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
No, he didn't.
I swear to God, he did.
What do you mean the dude is doing it now?
No, they
Or
used
was
to.
doing it?
The old dude that used to do it, the South African fella, he died.
Oh, the dude that.
That played the piano and stuff.
No, that's not
Oh.
the dude. Oh, he might have been like
Maybe it was the previous dude, but he definitely died. One of them
Dude.
definitely did.
from like pest
No,
control
I
stuff.
don't know. Stroke maybe.
Michigan dog man.
Yeah, that's what actually. Have you seen The Ring? Some girl crawled out of his TV. Fucking goddamn.
Smashed him.
But yeah. So what do you got? I don't have no idea what you got, and I'm like, can we? Hey, have a guess? What do you think we're going to talk about today?
It'll be something, I reckon. So you got no idea at all?
No.
I'm just going to tell you,
Shit, I
this might be a
should've
bit of a clue or not. I know we say this a lot, but this is my favourite subject.
I think this is what I was going to guess to begin with. Can I guess first?
Oh, can I guess first?
Fucking hurry up then.
Something about the not Thunderbirds, the bird
We've
thingy.
talked about Thunderbird.
The
No,
Conga
the
Mato.
kookaburra. The kookaburra.
What?
No, the big birds that we talked about, that not the Thunderbirds ages ago, the pterosaur ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Is it? Can I have a guess?
Can I go again? No, I
No,
don't know
wait your
anymore.
turn.
I did. I already had one. It's your turn.
Wait, you can have a second go if I guess wrong. Is it Skinwalker Ranch?
No.
Oh,
I didn't have another one. I
I
just
thought
wanted
for sure I had it.
Was like, who's closer?
Oh yeah.
Neither.
That makes sense.
And it's
I
one of
guess.
your favourite
It's
things.
not a paranormal thing.
Is it an event that happened?
Yes.
Your favourite? Have you told? Should we know this? Is this something we should know?
Maybe.
George brings out a slideshow of him getting Finnegan.
Fingered
It's
in.
just
This is my dog.
Finnegan.
You gotta be careful how you put your
Finnegan.
sentences together with me around.
I get those photos mixed up too. I put this above cryptids and I put this above like missing people.
This
and
better not
stuff.
be shit when
Above
you say
missing
it.
people.
There is so much. Because I've been working on this for a very long time because there is so much
This
information
is a
involved in
COVID
it.
conspiracy, isn't it?
Yeah.
This, this is all about ancient history and ancient
Oh,
civilizations.
I like this.
Like Aztecs before them,
Before.
during them,
I'm
before.
talking about before.
Okay, this would be the what are they called?
when Predator
stuff
came
like
down
that, eh?
and started hunting them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is about like the galactic wars used to happen back in the day, and
Atlantis.
we all got messed up, or sections of the universe got messed up, so they fled through the galaxy and like ended up here and started a civilization. They were called the somethings.
No, but that sounds extra cool.
That sounds like
Oh.
the.
Now I'm starting to wonder why I did this.
You
Not
just go
that.
back to the drawing board.
What are you talking about?
That's I sent it
plot
through.
to
I
aliens.
Is it
can't-
like Zachariah Sitchin or
I
some
don't know who
shit?
said it,
That
but it
sounds
was
like Prometheus.
he had a name for the people who they split off and ran away from this big
Yeah, like
galactic
the
war where they lost.
Anarchy and all that sort of
Anarchy, that was
stuff.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. there you
No,
go.
this doesn't have anything
This
to
is
do
the
with that.
Anarchy.
No.
I have literally never heard of any of this.
Haven't you?
I've always been interested in ancient history and ancient
I love
kind
this
of,
sort of stuff.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I've not heard of
Especially if
what
it's
the fuck
before
he's
the
on about.
Aztecs.
Well, basically, where I got all this information was all the like Graham Hancock's books and stuff like that, and he's written so many books on it, and the ones I got it from was like his first novel was Fingerprints of the Gods.
Oh, that was
That was back in 1995.
Wasn't that podcast you got me onto with, was it Rogan?
Yeah,
Yeah, it was pretty good about the pyramids and
that's right.
it was
yeah.
pretty cool.
And
It was cool.
the next one was The Magician of the Gods, and then he also wrote America Before, one about like all these megaliths in America and stuff like that. And also the last one, and I'm only halfway through reading it now, was what's it called? I've just gone blank on it.
something of the gods.
No. It was like an underwater one.
Toe Prince of the Gods.
There was a lot of something of the gods, so I just took a stab and thought
No,
it
that was only those two ones.
Fingerprints of the Gods. What was the second one?
Magicians of the gods.
The Magicians of the Gods was the second one.
Fingerprints of the gods.
I'm gonna have to Google
Fish
this
of the
because
gods. Fishy gods.
fish gods.
Yeah.
That would be terrifying.
That would be kind of scary.
Do you think it'd be okay to eat a mermaid if you
Yes,
ate her
I mean,
tail?
Or
Because it's like the fish part.
I feel like I would answer yes, but once you've eaten the tail, you sort of feel like the rest would be okay once you're at that point.
That's what I mean. Like,
Just eat
what's
it the whole-
cannibalism and what's not? Like,
It's a mermaid. That's not cannibalism, is it?
yeah, but technically the top half is human.
Not technically. It's the whole thing's. You got to look at it as a whole. It's a mermaid, right?
Yeah, but if you
it's
just
not a fish human.
yes, but it is human. Yes, it is. I feel like it is. That's what I'm
top
getting.
half fish, bottom half woman.
Where was it?
That was
Family Guy?
Futurama right
What
there.
was the one where they're like, "Where's the heat? We had a where's the
Remember there was the underwater one. It's called Underworld, and I'm halfway through it, and it's about underwater cities, like underwater structures, and
Hey,
that
Kevin
found off the
Costner.
coasts.
That's
of all
so
these
scary.
places.
That's
yeah,
Waterworld.
Kevin Costner.
You're saying underwater.
I'm just happy you got the actor right.
Good go you.
So mainstream civilization, this is what like most people think,
Boring people.
is first thought to have developed in the Fertile Crescent located in the Middle East between the Euphrates and Tigris rivers.
Right.
That's where they found the dude from Blade. Blade 3, when they went looking for the...
Oh,
Oh, was
Dracula.
it?
Yeah. Well, a lot of these movies are informed by... You know what I mean? Like, they would
A
write
little
about
bit of-
where do we
yeah.
think the cradle of civilization is or whatever, and that's why they found him in the Middle East.
Blade, ready to die? I was born, motherfucker. That's that guy. Isn't it? Yeah.
This development began after 4000 BC with the emergence of the earliest true civilizations,
4,000.
the
That's
Sumerians and the Egyptians.
that's
so
early.
they're
That's early.
yeah,
Yeah.
heaps early. So around 3000 BC, they were soon followed by the Indus Valley and Chinese civilization. So Chinese and India came shortly after,
Right. So Sumerians were 4,000.
about 1,000 years after.
Yeah.
See, everything I've heard, it says the white people were first. We were here first.
We were here first, always have been.
Yeah, but if you're here last, you can say you're here first. That's the. Sorry, go on.
He just,
Something happened in my head then. I thought it was okay.
Something happened. I had brainwaves for a second. I saw the universe.
do you guys
I
ever
shut them down.
do you guys ever get that? What thoughts?
Pictures emerged.
I saw pictures.
So about 1,500 years later, civilization took off spontaneously and independently in the Americas. So
Right.
it had no association with like over in Europe and that.
Yep.
It just took off by itself. So since about 3000 BC in the Old World and about 1500 BC in the New World, civilization has steadily evolved in the direction of ever more refined, complex, and productive forms.
Yeah.
So it's just slowly, civilization came into being. Sounds like God. Bling. And then slowly it kind of like built,
Okay. Everything gets better.
That's right.
Hmm.
In effect, particularly by comparison with ourselves, all ancient civilizations and all their work are to be understood as primitive. So we're basically the best that's ever been.
Yeah.
All these other people
knew
are just like no one cares about them. They haven't really done much.
I feel like it depends on how you view the situation. Are we the best that's ever been?
I know
or are we like
personally.
a scourge?
Yeah.
Have we just gotten out
Like
of
it's
control
so good, it's
now?
not good.
Yeah.
So that brings us to the Younger Dryas and the Cataclysm. So this is going to take us back
This sounds
a bit.
like he wrote his own religion almost.
It's just
Not like a
it's
religion,
just-
but like how the Bible is like, and then this happened and this happened, which caused this to happen. Like it sounds like he's written almost like an alternative or like whatever, not alternative, but like, you know what I mean? Like
Well,
it's just like
what wasn't made up.
what he could
He hadn't
figure
made
out.
it up.
He's not an archaeologist or anything. He's just a reporter, and all he does is report on the findings that he makes
But where does he get the findings from?
all different other
Cultures,
people.
Is that what?
Well, he's
or like
put-
cultures, beliefs back in the day, or
like
something
he goes
like
through
that.
and reads old books and that. Like from India, he read like the Vedas or whatever, and they had all this in their books, all that, like their culture.
That's what I mean. So like the Bible is just some like maybe that's a bad analogy because it's a bit woo woo. You know what a lot.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. But what I mean is like how it kind of depicted Jesus is rising and all these crazy stories from the time or whatever. It's kind of just collating all this information into a timeline that's easy to digest.
But you get it from all sources. There'd be I can't say archaeologists.
Huh?
I said that wrong.
Archaeologists.
But they'd have their reports on tools or whatever it may be
Yeah.
back then and go, this was dated back to now. And that's where he would know, well, that was a real thing back at that time.
Yeah.
He puts that in his little...
And if that's real, what's not saying that this isn't real
Yeah.
too? Because
Yeah.
they've talked about other stuff that's legit.
Whereas in the Bible, they don't go, this is Jesus' thong. We found that in 50,000 BC. And
I don't think any.
he whipped a T-Rex with it in one of his little... It's got see the T-Rex on the imprint.
Yeah. I don't think anything what he's saying is like he's the end all and be all. He's just saying this is what he thinks might have happened. He's not saying it definitely happened. He's saying this is interesting. I'm going to put it in a book and see what happens.
I've never ever heard about it, so I have no like point of reference for anything. But that's what it sounds like to
Yeah.
me. He's just like, he's gone and investigated and was like, let me put this in a timeline. Josh, we're literally not even we're like 10 minutes in, and Josh is like, next one.
Is that okay?
I'm not
Strap
judging it.
in
It's just
some-
I
just
haven't
love
had one
it.
for a week.
Very-
I've been good.
a little bit
I like having a
jealous.
few on a podcast. It relaxes me a bit. And now I'm verbal diarrhea. Now I need to drink this whole thing if you want me to shut up right now.
sorry. I like your cooler. Look at mine.
Ooh.
I want that one.
You can have it.
Daddy, I want that one.
Sorry, continue.
From roughly 18,000 years ago, and for several thousand years thereafter, global temperatures had been slowly but steadily rising and the ice sheets melting. So about 18,000 years ago, a bit earlier, it was like 20,000, 22,000. There's been an ice age. So there's been ice caps everywhere, basically. It's everything's frozen. It steadily started to come out of that area. Things started to warm up. Ice sheets started to recede. And our ancestors would have had reason to hope that the Earth's long winter was at last coming to an end.
Fuck that, hey.
Yeah,
How
so-
unlucky would that have been to be
Yeah.
in that era? So people say millennials have it shit. They would have
Oh,
had
yeah.
shit.
This process of warming peaked at about 14,500 years ago. And then suddenly around 12,800 years ago, the direction of climate changed reversed. And the world turned dramatically instantly cold as it had been during the peak of the last ice age. So during like the 22,000, it got warmer, started to melt, and then around 12,800, drastically it just went bang, straight back into the ice age.
Like, is this a normal thing that goes in and out? And then this one was a really bad one or something? Is that what it's
It
saying?
happened really quickly.
Oh,
Like
real
it wasn't
quick.
over a time. It like pretty much within like a year.
Like not leading slowly into a season. It was like,
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah.
No more sun for you.
This deep freeze, the mysterious epoch known as the Younger Dryas, lasted for approximately 1,200 years. So then all the ice sheets came back, like the world became cool again, and that lasted for about 1,200 years. Up until 11,600 years ago, at which point the climate flipped again. Global temperatures shot up rapidly, the remaining ice sheets melted away and collapsed into the oceans, and the world became as warm as it was today.
Jesus, make your fucking mind up.
Yeah, so it's just going back and forth, back and forth. And I've seen some...
That's why they call it Mother Nature.
Yeah, I wanted to say something. but
I
I'm
did
just
it for you. I
overtaking
could
the
see it. I
guardrails.
could see you sitting there,
This
like
is not as
bead of
funny
sweat
anymore.
coming down his forehead, like, and I was like, let
Yeah.
me do it for
Just
you.
let it, let me take care of it.
I was like, I don't
Very
have it
clever,
in me.
very clever, Josh. Good one, Josh.
I'll wait for a better opening next time. Lean towards it. Like, give me something.
No.
Okay, I'll find something.
You will.
Yeah.
Josh, sweetie, you have to work for it.
Okay.
Okay, remember, it's a three-way kind of street here. Everyone gets paid
That's
the
what your
same.
pest inspector thought walking in.
Everyone gets paid the same. Everyone does the same amount of work. Everyone
Wait,
gets the same
you guys
payoff.
get paid.
Yeah, don't you like to test your peanuts?
Yeah.
No one's getting paid.
If you don't, it's weird. Carry out.
So, along with the drastic climate change, is the last remnants of the Pleistocene megafauna.
Plus, that's familiar.
So that's like all the like
Oh, fauna's animals too. Flora.
yeah,
fauna,
like those saber-toothed tigers
Yeah,
and the
yes.
short-faced bear
Mammoths.
and the mammoths
Yeah.
and all that.
That
So
would be a
when-
good movie instead of like Jurassic Park. Just them. Hey.
Yeah. So
So
when
it's
the,
more relatable.
so it was coming into that out of that 18,000-year-old ice climate, and then it's come warmer, and then as soon as it hit back into the ice age again, that one that was 12,800 years ago, that's where all the megafauna and all that died out.
It died out because of that. because of that, because they just couldn't control their bodies weren't.
Well, it kills all of.
Was that when people turn up?
Because
Because I reckon people pretty much just hunted everything to extinction.
That's what they thought, but this coincides with
a bit of both.
that timing. Yeah, could be a bit of both.
And they're megafauna. These animals are huge. Like, it takes a lot to feed them. It's a lot of energy. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
You saw the picture of the short-faced bear. That's what they were up against, trying to hunt them.
No, I haven't seen it. Who was the megafauna up against them?
No, the people. People were up against short-faced bears.
Short-faced bears.
Everyone
They're
just
massive,
likes to body shame on this show.
I just think of this bear with a nose like us.
It's just
No,
a
like a
human
nose
face.
like- It's
You know,
a nose
like off
a
the
pig.
terror.
A
Bigfoot.
pig?
Off the oh, yeah. Oh.
Basically that.
Oh, that's messed up. That's no, thank you.
Yeah. No, thanks.
No, thank you.
Do you think it'd be appropriate, instead of me having to do all this time editing everything, if I'm just like,
Straight into the camera.
that's what we're looking at?
Yes. So the extinction appears to have been catastrophic, seemingly too sudden and extensive for either human predation or climate change to have been primary cause. So it basically happened too sudden for people to wipe all these animals out. I'm guessing they had some sort of impact on it,
Yeah,
but it was just too sudden.
I think it was supernatural.
yeah. Me too.
Like Dan
Explain
and Sid.
yourself.
I don't know why, but the first thing I thought of was like when Aragorn went into the caves.
Talk to those.
He's like, "You'll be free if you come help me for a bit."
Yeah.
And then
they're
over the
like-
mammoth.
Yeah, they just run it through like everything, and then they're just like, "There goes the megafauna."
There's a fat little fella there going, "It only counts as one."
I'm putting Gimli on you.
This sudden termination appears to have coincided with the sudden climatic switch from the warming period to the Younger Dryas cooling period, which brings us to the Younger Dryas impact theory, stating that a comet, or more likely a stream of comets, entered the Earth's atmosphere out of the Taurid meteor stream and contacted on the 2-kilometre thick ice sheet that covered North America.
Ooh.
Oh, so it melted it, like the impact.
That's what they think.
That's pretty cool.
So there was this 2-kilometre ice sheet that covered most of North America, and it reached down to the Missouri.
2 kilometre.
When you said
2
you called, you mean
kilometre
thick.
Oh,
Holy shit.
I thought you meant wide, and you were
Yeah.
saying
Sometimes
it like
I
I
was
was like, "Are we impressed?" But
I was like, so
Yeah.
a pond froze
I was
over.
like, "So have you heard of Antarctica?" Like, I was like,
What?
2
it's a
kilometres.
frozen
Yeah,
pond.
no,
So I was
2
flicking a
kilometres
cigarette butt in it.
thick.
Yeah.
That reached from the top of North America, like the Arctic, and that reached all the way down to like Missouri and the Ohio Valley.
that's thick.
That
Yeah.
is thick with 2 C's.
Yeah.
I
And
see.
half a K.
The only point halting this theory is the lack of impact evidence. For instance, the first and most obvious sign of an impact of an asteroid or a comet is the crater.
But it's
But
2K
then if it's
thick.
2Ks of ice, it could just melt away, can't it?
Well, that's if the meteor or comet or whatever landed on the ice sheet, you wouldn't find a crater.
No, unless it went through it into the actual bottom of.
They said that if you strip the Earth back, like all the oceans and all that sort of stuff,
She'd be ugly.
It'd look a lot like the moon.
It's like take all the
Really?
makeup off.
Yeah.
You wouldn't date that world.
No world would date you.
Oh, thank God. I'm not ready for that commitment.
You're like one of those dudes, like, I just like a natural looking woman. And it's just like,
God. I told you I'd get it.
yeah, Josh doesn't take a swimming on her first date. Like, you look
still
like
going.
the fucking
going.
monster from the Blue Lagoon in the corner. Take a swimming on the
Which one though?
first
The
date.
Farscape one, or I haven't
The
actually
fucking
seen this?
ugly one.
There's a pretty one.
Those dudes, there's always the ugliest dudes. I'm like, take a swimming on. Like, look at you, bro. You look like a half-drowned rat in the pool.
Jesus.
Okay.
Still going.
It didn't take long.
You hit that nerve.
Done.
Finished.
Good.
That's not the last one either. Just
Yeah,
it'll pop up again.
That's why I'm saving my energy.
Yeah, got a long trip to go. So what followed after like all these impacts is a sudden melting of the ice caps all around the world. It was a life-destroying flood. So all around the world, all these ice caps were above Europe and all that. They all melted because of the sudden global change in weather. And what occurred was just global floods everywhere.
No,
Jesus
hurry up,
Christ.
you little fuckers, we're going. Get
Yeah.
on. The unicorns are like, no, wait. No, there's no time for you. Just try.
And then the penguin baby we talked about.
Oh, what was its name?
I don't know. I don't give a fuck what its name is. It's going to fuck
Frank.
overboard.
Was it Frank?
Here's Frank. He's like, what the hell?
My favorite, it's like when you need to fight, it's like you fight like you're the it's like some saying, it's like you need to fight like you're one of the 3 monkeys getting on the ark or something.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
starting, brother, it's starting to rain or some shit like that.
So it resulted in a sea level rise of 60 meters and could be more on account of crust displacement of around 160 meters.
This is why you don't build a house so close to the beach.
Yeah, that's true.
So
I should
basically,
have thought of that even back then. That's no excuse.
Basically the amount of water from the ice sheets poured into the oceans and the ocean rose. But also there's a thing called, it's like crust displacement. So there was that much weight from the ice sheets on this part of the world that it's kind of like a cushion, like it raises up the other half.
That's what I was going to say. Like, I thought it would be a dumb question,
the
but I was
world-
like, if the ice is already there taking that volume up and melts, isn't it roughly the same amount of volume? I don't know.
Yeah, so you got to account for these other places in the world were a bit higher, but as soon
Yeah.
as that melted, all the water plus the lowering, like it rebounded again.
Because
all
it's like
the
a
water.
density thing, and then it's not as...
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it sinks back down. So
like
it
a-
makes the
It's a
sea
fucking
levels.
waterbed.
So on
Yeah,
average, still
literally,
the same,
yeah.
just, Terra here, and these guys can then be like, I'm building closer, yay!
Yeah. Boom.
Until
Bonjour.
the next one.
Yeah.
About 12,000 years.
Therefore, the world looked very different from what we see today. Geologists calculated that nearly 5% of the Earth's surface, an area of around 25 million square kilometres, has been swallowed by rising sea levels since the end of the Ice Age.
Jesus Christ.
That's roughly the equivalent to the combined area of the United States and the whole of South America.
And how long was that over?
That was at the end of the Ice Age.
Yeah, but how long did it take from end of the Ice Age till now? Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah. It is an area almost 3 times as large as Canada and much larger than China and Europe combined.
With the climate change going the way I thought it'd go the other way with like evaporation. That would be sick because you'd start buying like property underwater, you know what I mean? Because eventually you'll be able to build on that.
If you see an Ice Age come and start buying real estate underwater.
Yeah, I want that land. There's nothing there. I'll give it to you for a pittance.
Yeah, you're
I don't know what that is, but like this.
so
600 later, your
I-
great grandchildren. Yeah.
Yeah,
Great, I got it right.
he made the right choice.
generational wealth.
Gets taken off him straight away.
No, wait, that wasn't yours to start with. You got to take it back off, yeah.
Mate.
Seems fair, I guess.
No, that belonged to the fish
Yeah.
before the times. They get it back now.
They would be fish people too now, not like mermaids, like fish people, like humanoid fishes. They're like, hey, kill me!
But give it back too.
What adds greatly to the significance of those lost lands is not only their enormous area, but also because they were coastal in predominantly warmer latitudes, that they would have been amongst the very best lands available to humanity anywhere in the world at
Yes,
that time.
like they are now, technically, I guess.
Where do we build these days? Where's all our
On
major
the
cities?
coast,
On the
yeah,
coast.
yeah.
Why would it be different back in those times?
Well, they didn't have jet skis, so
Oh, yeah, that's like
taking a boat that
That's
fast,
my next
crazy.
paragraph. And found in an ancient culture of the jet ski.
all the surfs just have to sit on the back and like blow through a hole, like a tube, like a terracotta tube so the jet ski goes.
Terracotta tube.
They start waiting and you just get kicked off the jet ski. But jets have never been invented, probably be called something else.
Yeah.
Like wave ski or some shit.
Or log.
Get off my lawn. They throw it, what they do is they put it out with a really long rope and then they just pull you
really quick.
Yeah.
It's going only like a little slow, but they're all like,
Honey, I'm a daredevil. Oh, there goes my umbrella. The sun it burns.
Big wave snookers them, and then like a branch goes through them. Yeah, man.
So cool.
marine archaeology is only in its infancy of underwater exploration, but have already made great strides in investigating multiple underwater sites,
No, they
some
should
of
just
which
leave
are
that alone.
located off the coast of Japan.
Leave it alone.
So imagine how big the ocean is, like, and now they've just started to try and find all these underwater structures and that, but they've got no funding, no anything. They're just starting basically now.
Someone give them money.
That shit's cursed. I don't. You don't know what's like. You literally don't know what's under there.
That's why we want to know.
That's what I mean, though. That's a movie waiting to happen. Of like, what have you unleashed? Have you seen the movie Underwater with Kirsten?
Yeah, the one with the little alien.
Yeah, the
underwater
creature things, and
yeah.
they unlock something. Yeah, it's like an oil rig their oil rig underwater.
Yeah.
You'd probably froth on it, Josh.
Maybe I don't know. How old is it?
21? 2021?
I haven't seen that then.
Yeah.
I would say something maybe COVID times ish. It was pretty it's an interesting concept that I enjoy. But like, if you were like, do you want to come help this underwater exploration? Sick, love the idea of that. Literally one of the only undiscovered areas in the world. You know what I mean? Except for like Barrington Tops. But like, you laugh, but they say that.
Let's go find that plane. That sounds a bit easier.
No, after reading about the tree that literally makes you want to kill yourself if you touch it because it's so painful for months afterwards. I don't want to do that. But you don't know what all of a sudden there are mer people, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah. No, I do know what you mean.
scary.
I want to
I
talk
just
to
don't
all
like
those
sharks.
people.
I think they can talk. Yeah, but yeah, true. Sharks are probably scarier than
That's what he said when he's been diving in that. It's like shark.
What, he
infested
went
waters.
there?
This Graham Hancock goes to all these places.
He's
Jeez, he's
insane.
full
He
on.
learned to dive just so he could dive at these places. So he's been doing it for like the last 20 years.
You probably got it there, maybe, but do they find things like, say, because back then it wouldn't have been so much dwellings or, some form of houses. I wouldn't have thought it'd be like, caves they probably lived in as well that are under, in the ocean.
Stone structures is the main thing, like big megalithic stone structures.
Yeah, but I feel like back then it wouldn't be built as good and they'd probably wash away easier and you wouldn't see stuff.
That's one of the main. Yeah, you're right. Some of it is eroded and you don't. But I think that sets apart because what they build it with isn't it as well. The water doesn't erode it as well and stuff like that. So it sticks a bit more.
Like gold, the cheapest material back then.
Yeah.
So basically, what you're saying is these underwater cities that have been discovered are potentially left over from when the ocean rose and then wiped them out, and then there's no real history of them or whatever. So people are now kind of trying to do underwater archaeological digs on them to figure out what their deal is.
Just to find out if our civilization goes back a lot further than we actually think it does.
So when people say the lost city of Atlantis, they don't really mean
it's just the
there's
hut
people
that's about
swimming
20
around
meters.
underwater.
Yeah.
It just means that it used to not be underwater.
Just means there was a church at Langston Clare.
I don't have Atlantis in here, but one of the things about Atlantis is Atlantis was said. This all come from like Plutarch, an old Greek philosopher, and he travelled to Egypt and met up with Solon, which was a historian in Egypt. And then he recounts that his great-grandfather told him that Atlantis was a place that was located off the west of the Pillars of Heracles, which is the Strait of Gibraltar, which is
You keep going because I need to know where that is.
I thought Rome was a country, so continue.
It's the westernmost point of Europe, basically. Between Spain and North America, there's like a little inlet to the Mediterranean Sea.
Yeah.
And that's known as the Pillars of Heracles,
Okay.
or the Strait of Gibraltar. So it was said to be off the west coast of that. What sits out in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean is called the Atlantic Ridge. So there's a ridge that runs all the way north to south through
so
there.
there might be a lot of shit out there.
Solon was said that Atlantis got its destruction was 9,600 years ago, which coincides with the melting of the ice sheets. And when the ice sheets were on the land, like we talked about, it pushed up the other areas. One of those areas was that Atlantic Ridge. So that Atlantic Ridge would have been above water. And as soon as the ice sheets melted, and this is coming from like Plutarch, who knew nothing about the Younger Dry Ice events and stuff like that. So he didn't know about the climate change.
Because that's what the crust thing's interesting. Because that's what I was getting hung up on. I'm like, well, if it's high, even if the water melts, but if it sank,
yeah,
then we've got problems.
So that's just a little side bit. Like it's a really big coincidence.
So not just
cases.
It could have also been destroyed over time, and that with the crust moving and sinking, and it'd be shit thrown everywhere, and you probably never find anything substantial.
Yeah,
you bought a house recently. Have you got insurance for this?
For the house,
for the crust shifting.
Yeah,
because that'll be the next thing.
That's my first question before bushfires.
Before flooding.
How's your crust displacement on this?
Yeah, I even licked the dirt and said, it just doesn't feel like it's worth that. I mean, we should be taking at least a couple $100 off a month. And he just looked at me and said,
I heard there was ice sheets over in Antarctica that might be melting soon. Might have an effect on my place.
He just said, Sarah, if you want to pay extra money for something that's not real, go ahead.
I will. Take it.
I can get you a pizza. You can test out that crust. That's as good as it's going to
I'll
get.
take it. That's why I signed a contract.
Yeah. You got a free pizza.
Well, a slice.
So a couple of these examples are Yanaguni, for example, at a depth of 18 metres, an area of terracing with visible flat plains and right angles has been cut. 2 huge parallel blocks weighing in an estimate 30 tonnes each and separated by a gap of less than 10 centimetres have been placed upright side by side. In 27 metres of water, there is also a clearly defined stone path oriented towards the east. It's also paved. So this path is paved. And
underwater.
It runs towards the east, underwater.
It's problem solved. Obviously, how do you pave underwater? It's got to have been real.
It's Joe sitting on the side of the sea's just like, oh, my business didn't take off. If the diver follows the path, they will come in a few hundred metres to a megalith, a rounded 2-ton boulder that seems to have been purposely placed on a carved ledge at the centre of a huge stone platform.
Do you have images of this? Or video
or
something?
In the book. Yeah, in the book.
Cool.
I'll send you some.
I'm excited to see that.
Also, this place called Karamar, which is 40 kilometres west of Okinawa, local divers have been aware for some years of the existence of a series of underwater stone circles at depths of 30 meters.
Jesus. So so it's not that far off really the coast either, by the sounds of it.
And
Well, when you think about it, like 30 meters, when you go to the beach and stand on the beach and then go 30 meters up, that water could travel for a very long time before it even hits land.
Yeah, it's true.
So it doesn't go out into the ocean like it's...
Yeah, I used
like
to
slow
think that. I
decline.
used to think like, you know, when we went to the beach as kids and you'd be waist height or nearly shoulder height. I used to think if I go out further, it's going to end up just going
Just
down
goes
so
down and
far.
down,
But
yeah.
it can just go like even 4 meters for kilometers.
Yeah, it just plateaus out.
Yeah, it doesn't
Oh,
even have to-
really?
yeah,
I
I
was-
always thought it was always like even
I'm
like
still thinking that. Like, shit
like-
just get deeper, right?
Port Macquarie when we hired a boat the other day and we're going through
we
it.
got the boat at Port Macquarie.
Oh,
It
I
was-
have a boat.
It was like
Josh has boat money.
no. Okay, when I say I hired a boat and
Yes, a yacht boat doesn't matter.
no, it was you could have walked faster than it on land.
Josh has got the kids' feet out the back. Daddy,
It's one of those.
I don't want to do this. Do you want to row?
It's one of those
Do you need
terms.
do you need a boat license?
Not
for-
if it's under 10 knots or 8 knots, and that's what it was not fast. It was like an old beat up tinny. It
Yeah.
was slow as.
I wouldn't be going
Yeah.
out in that.
Yeah, well, we did until he was terrified.
Yeah,
fishing.
I-
or-
Just fishing, yeah.
Yeah.
But you could see the sand. It's like
Yeah.
all everywhere nearly. It's
Yep.
not deep. It's
You
Like that
only
whole-
need to be knee height for a shark attack. Just saying.
yeah.
Oh, I've seen those videos where they come right up to the
And,
shoreline.
and have you seen the one where the dude's standing in with all these bull sharks? And he's like, see, they're not that bad. And
No.
he's in like just above the knee. And one of them comes up. There's a video, and I'll see if I can find it so casually and just goes,
Takes his calf.
but
doesn't it?
yeah, but you watch him as it just like peels his calf
Yeah.
away and
Yeah.
goes all.
Nah.
But it's kind of funny because the dude, like, you like, oh, you poor bugger, but also like you kind of laugh because you're like, idiot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
'Cause he's like, dude, you're so friendly. They're not going to do anything. And you watch as he's saying this shark is like, take that, and just swims off.
Does it so easily.
Yeah.
So at that depth of 30 meters, there is also formations within the same general area that show some signs of having been cut and worked by human beings.
So are they struggling to find people to pay for these like funding?
No one funds them.
Did you tell them Josh has boat money?
I will now.
Had boat money.
You've since had the
Spent
boat.
on something that
On the
was
boat.
crawled through the bay for 2 hours.
Also,
Old tugger.
Old tugger.
you see people froth over going down and seeing the Titanic, right? Like that dude, that millionaire, whatever, with his Xbox. Fuck him. But
Oh,
like,
is he the one with the PlayStation controller?
James
that,
Cameron? Was he the dude who goes down there?
No, he's a movie director.
yeah, he did though when he was
doesn't he?
filming.
I
He
don't
did when he was filming Titanic. I mean, the recent one where that dude, where it imploded and they all died,
Oh,
and then it happened to be made out of an old beer can and a PlayStation controller was what.
I think he operated with the PlayStation controller.
He was like some dumb engineer or something who, made it himself to cut costs, even though he's a multi-millionaire, to do that.
Which doesn't make sense because PS controls are very expensive.
Yeah, but I feel like something that a submarine controller might be a little bit more up there.
I don't know.
But why wouldn't they do? Is that something they could consider? You reckon? Like,
I don't think they will now.
not like that, but you know what I mean, like a tour or like.
Well, some things that I've read, most things I've read is all the money is in like shipwrecks
Okay.
because you can find stuff. They're interesting.
Oh,
Because you're not going to make money back off this.
No, you're not.
I feel like
pure,
that's
like,
more
archaeology.
interesting though. What you're talking about is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the people don't get a say. It's whoever's got the money.
But that's what I mean. Surely someone's looked at that and gone, I can profit off this.
Yeah.
I'm going to start a company. Is it hard because it's like you don't own it, right? But it's kind of like you don't own the Titanic. So who has the right to do like
But
we
they
could
also
do it.
know where the Titanic is and they
Yeah.
can go straight there and do their thing. Whereas this is really like,
No, they
there's a
found
rock
it.
there that's cut a bit like, but it's just like there's a footpath there, but it'd be old as shit. And
Yeah.
there's no solid like a city where they can just
feel
be
like
like
they could
bang and
At
There's going to be
least
nothing
try.
left behind.
exactly.
Stone's
they
the
can
only
just find
thing you're
bits and
gonna find.
yeah, exactly. So it's not really appealing. Whereas the Titanic is an actual shipwreck that's sitting there and they
Yeah.
can just go straight to it every time.
You watch this space.
a
I reckon
lot
there'll
of
be
it,
tours.
a lot of it too was gaining permission to dive at
That's
these
what I mean
sites.
because you don't own it. So who do you have to get permission from the government? I assume.
from the government, like Japan and all that.
What about
and they're not,
international-
they don't like other people coming in and like looking around. Either.
What about international waters?
What if you sent a lot of whales down there and said, follow?
There'll be no whales near Japan.
That's why
I
they'd
imagine.
follow them. You'd introduce more whales and then.
Oh, you saying when the Japanese found out you found whales, they would be like, go follow the
Yeah.
whales?
Can you point them out and they've let you down there and follow you while you're looking at rocks and that. They go, so where is it?
Oh, where's the is this a harpoon in a submarine?
Yeah, my imagination's going a bit. No, he's by
happening.
himself and scuba. That's how they hunt him, right? They just get thrown overboard with one spear.
Whales.
Yeah.
Yes, that's how they hunt.
No, I know that. I know they brutally do it from the boat.
Harpoon, bitch. And then they put
So,
out blubber.
There's a couple of other sites around Japan that they have basically the same characteristics, and that's Aguni and Shitan, where there's also underwater sites where there's megaliths and stuff like that. Same basic thing.
Would it be
all
the
around.
Japanese people, or it'd be a different culture entirely? Do you think?
I think it's an earlier culture.
Okay.
Whoever could have lived in these, like we said, all that water covered those areas, a massive amount of areas. I just think there was someone there beforehand doing this, and then they moved back up, and that's where you started getting the Sumerians and Indus Valley. And
it
all
wouldn't have happened quick, hey, like a tsunami. It would just slowly keep rising, and you'd be like, fuck, we're going to have to move.
I think it rose pretty quickly as well, like with just the water coming into the ocean and like the subsidence and stuff.
Yeah, it's like 10 years later, shit, we better go now. Not like you dip your toe after a few minutes. Oh, shit, okay, we're going.
You don't really care when it's on your balcony so much every now and then with the tide. You're just like, oh, it's a bit annoying. And then after like a year or two when it starts creeping into the kitchen, you're like,
maybe now.
We're going to have to.
Here's another one. So 5 kilometers off the coast of India, at a depth of 23 meters, a U-shaped structure was discovered. The total length of the object is 85 meters, while the distance between the two arms is 13 meters, and the maximum height of this U-shape is 2 meters.
The hell
so
is
it's basically 2 meters thick. You think of Prometheus. You remember the movie Prometheus?
Yeah.
Those ships. I think of that like it's just a stone structure that goes all the way around and just meets. It's only got 13 meters difference at the
so it's like a hug.
Yeah,
but you're not quite
touching.
Yeah, so this is
fat person there.
Yeah, so they found it 5 kilometers out to sea.
5 kilometers. Oh, I thought you said 23 meters, but it's only 23 meters deep.
Yeah.
So not like something that's been dropped there.
No.
Is that deep?
23 meters.
Yeah.
It's pretty deep, yeah.
Okay. I have no concept of, like, you could say 4 meters, so I'm like, yep, 23 meters.
Just can't wrap your brain around.
Yeah, I'm just
it's
like
the universe when you're like the universe is too big.
Yeah,
to
I was
wrap
like,
your head around.
I can't try. I feel like 23 meters doesn't sound that deep compared to the
I
rest of the ocean.
I do like the whole mass. I'm nearly 2 meters, so I just go 10 of me.
Yeah.
Plus 1.5 of me. That's pretty. Like
You're in your brain, you're getting yourself.
Yeah. Like we're all doing this. It's pretty deep up here, man.
So what's the deepest point in the ocean, though?
The Mariana Trench.
Yeah.
And how deep is...
Like 6,000 kilometers or something.
Oh, yeah, so 23 is not that deep.
It's where the goblin sharks go. Because there's no light, no one has to see them, remember?
I thought the goblin sharks weren't there, though. They were in that little trench.
I thought that's what... It's up that way, isn't it? I got me mixed up.
It's not very deep up there, is it?
No, but I think it's up near there, isn't it? What was it called? The
Bering Strait. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, he's talking about the Bering Strait.
What's the deep thing? What's
Mariana
the deep place?
Trench.
Mariana Trench. Where's that located?
In one of the oceans somewhere.
Yeah.
Can I?
Is it the Atlantic Ocean?
I feel like it's the Pacific.
I just remember the name of it. I just remember watching a thing where they said at this depth this happens, and then we're going down deeper at this depth this happens, and then
what creatures live in like the depths and stuff.
Yeah, and they got anglerfishes, and then this is where you would explode if you were in this, and and the oxygen can't hold here.
It is the Pacific Ocean. The Mariana Trench is an oceanic trench located in the western Pacific Ocean, about 200 kilometers east of the Mariana Islands. Where's that? So it's off China. It is east of China, south of Japan.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, that's super deep.
Super deep. So
that's
deep, it's the deepest.
That's why when you're saying 23 meters, I'm like, in comparison to the deepest, like that's...
Yeah.
When they're like, do you want to go down there? I don't think anyone has that, have they?
Yeah.
Who?
I don't know. Some
it's
research
another show, but
there's
that's
like I said, there's a thing where it says this is how far. They didn't get to the bottom. Well, they sent like machines down there, but they've never. I don't think people have ever been down there.
I don't know. Yeah, I've seen a video of something down there.
Yeah, there's like a
like
record.
a rover or something.
Yeah, at the floor, and there's some messed up, weird looking things down there. Right?
Yeah,
and you know why they're doing that.
Those poor rovers. One's at Mars, one's down there, and then they get back together in like their locker room, and they're like, "This shit I've seen." One's got like a scar and a mustache.
Yeah.
You wouldn't believe. Just smoking cigarettes.
That actually, like as silly as it sounds, would be pretty cool. Like,
what, chatting to the...
robots talking to each other on the shit I've seen.
Would you rather be married...
That was when the footy went fuzzy and the humans couldn't see it. That's when it was touching me.
Man, I saw some rocks that looked like humans, hey? And I was like, yeah, I saw some creatures that no one's discovered before. Yeah.
Would you rather be Mariana Trench robot or...
Mars
robot?
Yeah, I think I'd rather be Mars.
Yeah. Cool trench. Still a trench.
What's happening on Mars, though?
Oh, who knows? I don't know.
There's no water. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, true.
So these are just some of the finds that marine archaeologists are discovering around the world. So it's just, they're discovering things like everyday kind of thing.
I don't know why, but
sounds like a poster.
I feel like they opened a clam and Andrew Tate came out. Like, that's where he came from, because he just seemed to come from fucking nowhere. Just popped out like a little sea slug. Okay. They're like, yo, where's that going? And then next minute, he's just like, real men drink bubble water.
Do they?
Something he says.
Because I do that.
Oh, I exclusively drink soda water.
Do you know you can drink a lot of that and it's not good with salt? Is it soda?
I have low sodium,
Oh, okay.
so
Well, I lied.
do whatever the fuck I want.
Salt can only help you. Salt is your friend. So next is like the maps of the ancients. So there's several maps that have also been associated with the existence of a lost civilization that inhabited the Earth before the end of the last ice age. Take, for example, the Piri-Reis map. Have you heard of the Piri-Reis map? The Piri-Reis map, which is a genuine document, so this isn't fake, was made at Constantinople in 1513 AD. So that's modern-day Istanbul.
Okay. Modern day Istanbul, so Turkey.
Yeah,
Okay.
right on the edge of Turkey, in between Turkey and Greece there.
Okay.
It focuses on the western coast of Africa, the eastern coast of South America, and the northern coast of Antarctica. The Piri-Reis map could not have acquired this information on the Antarctic continent from explorers, because Antarctica remained undiscovered until 1818.
So
AD.
does that make any... What?
Yeah. So there's a map made in 1513 AD that has Antarctica on it.
It's not like you could guess. And you couldn't just guess, it's the top of a nice planet.
Yeah,
down-
but who
continent down there.
discovered Antarctica?
That would be Captain B. Bob.
Correct.
Wait, I don't.
You didn't know
Are
that?
you fucking with
It's right
me?
next door to us, you weirdo.
What
How do
Antarctica?
you not know that? She didn't go to school.
I don't know. No, what was he English?
Benjamin Bob. Oh, well, it's not Bob. It's like Bouge, something weird.
Are you
Why?
are you being rude to me because I don't know something?
I'm being rude to you.
It's like
No, no
it's
more
gone-
history lessons
It's
for you.
gone to your head. Like I know something.
Who really did it?
No, was he English? Oh, you
don't
don't
know.
know.
Was Bob English?
Wait, so you don't know?
No, I got no idea.
Fuck you. That's so rude.
It's a little bit rude.
But I assume it was like an English person, and we all know how they like to rewrite history. Like just because it's like saying Australia was discovered in 1770 or when it is, right? I think it was 1770. But like it was not. Like for one, there was already indigenous population there, which I know is different for Antarctica. But then the Germans and the Dutch had been here a whole bunch. Van Diemen's Land, which by the way we should have stayed. Van Diemen's Land. Let's be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah, same
But-
with America.
But do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Antarctica may not have been discovered yet, but that's just saying, no, they what are they going to colonize the penguins? Like they had no interest in it. You know what I mean? So the British, whenever they decided to rock up and go, oh, look what I found in the butthole of Earth, like
Yeah.
Cold as fuck.
it may have already been sailed. Do you reckon?
Could have. It mustn't have been written like
Yeah.
down in anything, so everyone's
Yeah,
just
so
like,
that's up to an interpretation, I guess. There's people that probably seen it,
'Cause this-
landed on it, went, it's not important enough or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't even land it and I'd kick the boat into a reverse.
But this, like, they had to, you can't just guess with shit like that. You can't just be like, there's probably something there. Oh, fuck, there is.
Yeah, you
Like,
wait.
what a guess.
I got something special for you.
Oh, yeah. I'm more excited than Billy Bob when he found Antarctica.
So, yeah, that
So-
was so rude.
Antarctica was literally discovered 300 years later in 1818.
Are you kidding me?
And what does Antarctica mean? The
I don't-
word?
I don't know.
We've talked about this before.
Have we?
Well, probably wasn't listening.
Yeah, on the show. Because we were saying, I wonder if there's polar bears in Antarctica, and that jogged my memory and said, no, there isn't, because Antarctica literally
No life?
translate to no polar bears.
No
That's what it
polar bears.
translates to. No polar
Antarctica
bears. I'm going to call this
literally translates to no polar bears.
after they've done a sweep of the whole country or continent.
I don't think there's any life in Antarctica, is there?
I thought they were.
While she's doing this, do you know how good I am at geography?
Go.
Do you know how many continents there are?
7.
I'm not great at
Did
spelling.
you say
yeah.
incontinence?
What's the largest one?
Africa.
Russia.
Russia.
That's a country. It's the largest country. Yeah, you nearly said it.
Asia.
Asia. What's the smallest?
Australia.
What's the largest island?
Australia.
Yeah. What's the smallest country in the world? This one's a dick of a
It's like
one.
Lithuania or something like that.
Nah, it's a dick of a one.
Madagascar.
No. It's Vatican City.
Oh,
Oh,
it is too.
How
Yeah.
bullshit's that though?
Yeah.
It's got city in it.
Do you know how you know I know nothing about geography? Because I believe everything you say about
This
it.
is true though.
No,
I'm
that's
real.
true.
I'm good at geography.
They
I
have
know
their own laws and everything.
the most highest populated city is Tokyo,
Yeah.
and followed by like, is it New Delhi and
New Delhi.
what's
in
the
India?
India capital?
Yeah.
Yeah, and things like that.
Antarctica translates literally to opposite the bear.
Opposite the bear.
The proper
Because up
noun
north is
no
where the
bear.
bear is.
The proper noun
So
Antarctica
smart.
comes from the Greek and Latin adjectives Antarcticos, Antarcticus, literally meaning opposite the bear or bears. The name was first applied in the South Polar continent in the 19th century. So it basically means like opposite Arctica,
Where
where
the
the
bears
bears are in their
That disappoints me a lot in a way that not one person from that crew just went, "Excuse me, sir, I think that's a horrible name."
I think it was the one person from the crew that just stood there and like, what do you think we should name it? And there's one dude just standing away a little bit, just like, oh man, no bears. And we're like, yeah.
Have we actually been over the whole continent
No,
to
we just
find out?
landed.
No, I haven't
Or
been attacked
maybe-
yet. Brr, brr. Oh, sorry. No bears. No
I
bears.
don't know if they meant like literally it translates to no bears, but maybe it means like Antarctica. So the Arctic was where there were bears up there, and
Antarctica.
But Arctic means bears or some shit. So it's like they just literally mean it's opposite to the one up top. That's all it means. It's
Yeah.
opposite Arctica. Today's opposite day. Every day in Antarctica is opposite day.
Upside down word.
Upside downward.
So are you ready for this, Josh?
I am never ready for anything.
The ice-free coast of Queen Maud Land. This is like basically a place in Antarctica.
Ice-free coast, so no ice. Yeah,
There's
carry on.
water,
I
there's
like
a
this.
beach.
So far,
Land
I'd live
shown
there.
in the map is a colossal puzzle because the geological evidence confirms that the latest date it could have been surveyed and charted in an ice-free condition is 4000 BC.
So that's when it would have been ice-free. That long ago.
And that is drawn on the map.
Yeah, so someone's been there.
That long ago.
Yeah.
Or they have found that information before them and copied it or it's continued to cycle.
You're on the right track.
But someone would have had to have been there.
Yes.
at the
And they would have had to have been like believed. So we're like, this seems legit, yeah.
It is not possible to pinpoint the earliest date that such a task could have been accomplished, but it seems that Queen Maud Land shoreline has remained in a stable, unglaciated condition for at least 9,000 years before the spreading ice cap swallowed it entirely.
And that's going back that 4,000
So
BC.
so 4,000 BC before 4,000 BC,
So 9,000 before,
9,000 year
yeah.
gap was the only time that it was unglaciated.
And that's so fucking long ago.
Yep.
So maybe
That's
they
pretty
used to-
crazy. Like to think that people had boats. Was there even? I don't even think there was humans were there then.
Yeah,
That's like early. That's like first humans, nearly, isn't it?
we've been the people that we are now, like the same brain, the same body, everything. We've been around for the last 200,000 years.
Oh, 200. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was way off.
For no wonder I'm feeling a bit worn out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tattered.
Need an iOS update.
that's one of the reasons. Like
You're obsolete.
the last 200,000 years, and only in the last 6,000 years, we've discovered how to farm, how to grow civilizations.
Yeah, it just went
and stuff
bang.
like that.
eh?
Yeah, just out of nowhere.
That book I listened to, the one I was talking about on a couple podcasts ago, where they went through Homo sapiens and all that.
yeah,
They said that. They said we went from hunter and gatherers, and it was only recently we just found farming and just went bang.
yeah. But there's no evidence before that shows us like learning how to farm. It just suddenly goes
Just
bang,
happened,
farm.
yeah.
It just happened.
Yeah, like
Is that
someone
why
milked
they
a
all-
cow for fun.
Hmm.
Yeah, with no pants on, and they just went, "Oh, this is pretty good."
I wonder what this little morsel might taste like in my mouth. Fuck, what is all this stuff coming out so Oh, milk.
Move for me, Maybelline.
Isn't that why they say the aliens taught them?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
No, this is the whole thing. He thinks that maybe a civilization, like say Atlantis or something, was around but they're like, we find hunter gatherers around at the same time. But think about today, we have cities and technology, but there's still people in the Amazon that live as hunter gatherers
Yes.
and all that.
Yeah,
so they
exactly.
still live at the same time. And what they say is this civilization during like the meteors or whatever was destroyed, and only a few survived. And those few went around the world and taught all these other civilizations like the Sumerians and Egyptians how to
So you think
farm.
about it like Walking Dead sort of thing. Your community gets overrun, so you kind of move into another community, and then
Yeah.
you kind of keep moving along because you're like, wow, I've these skills and people love me because I've
Yeah.
taught them how to do this.
Well, yeah,
And
that's
then-
true, I guess. Yeah, because you go back to the old ways,
People
Yeah.
always want to find people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't ever want to be out there on your own.
they harbored like not expensive, but valuable things like maps and books and that,
Yeah.
and continued the technology, and then went from there. Like,
Have you
Yeah.
ever thought about how hard it would be sharing a cave with like 20 other people when you're as
Oh,
like
it'd be hard,
antisocial?
alright.
Like, you know what I mean? When you
Fuck,
just
I
like,
hate people.
but I'm social. I'd just make friends with everyone. I reckon I'd become leader, and I wouldn't want to be.
yeah, you'd be.
I'd
I'd
make
be.
horrible
I'd be trying to
decisions.
find a corner of a cave to get away.
Hey, I'm Josh.
But it's not just that
Fuck off.
you're living with like your in-laws and then your own family as well at the same time. So
I
you
like
can-
my family and
It's not
in-laws.
like that, but if they're fighting one another, you know what I
Let
mean?
them
It's
fight.
always a problem. But then there's all like 6 other families too, and it's like kind of cannibalize.
Yeah,
them.
they're the ones.
But then they're just like always in your space, shitting in your corner of the cave. You know what I mean? You just
Yeah.
don't, you have to be a part of it because otherwise society doesn't work for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't just be like a call operator that gets
Yeah.
paid money to stay in your house.
I
It'd be
just
awful.
resort to being Littlefinger, like I said. I'll be that
Just
guy
play
that
the
just
games.
plays everybody against
I
each
would
other.
100% be the entertainment. Like, that would be my job, would be like, as the sun is going down, everyone's around the fire. Like, that's where you bring out like the stand-up comedy or
I
some
was
shit.
listening to like the belly dancers.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to work hard. I just want to
Welcome to the Cave Comedy Club.
I just want to crack a joke
Tough
here.
crowd.
So there's lines, huh?
Half of us are dead.
Did you hear about Sarah? She married a Neanderthal. Just kidding, Jeff.
Hey,
That would be my contribution to the society.
you malnourished piece of shit.
Everybody needs entertainment. They've said it for years.
That's true, but I think that might come after a few other things like
I also want to eat with
Surviving.
blueberries.
So yeah, basically they talk about it like all different religions even have it as their starting point. Like all 72 different cultures that don't know each other, they all have the same story.
I heard that too. Yeah,
That they come over, this person comes over and they treat it as the person as a god
Yeah.
because they give them all this knowledge and all that. And it's the same with, remember the Aztecs and all that?
Mm-hmm.
Their god came to them, gave them all this stuff, and then he sailed away and he said, "Oh, next time you see me, I'll come back in the waves and I'll."
But not just stories, there's actual like drawings
Yeah.
and prints of
But it's like
same
it's not-
pictures from like here
Yeah.
all the way to like Egypt and that. And they're like, how's that even possible to have it? Like, is it coincidence?
But it's not
or-
like
Yeah.
some mystical god that shone down from the sky. It's a
No,
person
it's a-
that
Nah,
had these.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like George saying, like we might have had a civilization that was doesn't have to be progress as far as we have now, but
or in a different way.
or in a different way, progress in a different way. Like they had abilities to communicate, sail, transport each other around the world until it went to shit, and then we've started at the base again.
Yeah,
But there's little tidbits of survive, like of people who have actually been there and had the capacity to go there. And
Can you imagine people in Sahara like heard all these stories and they're just waiting there with like their fucking garden hose and shit for the dude to drop in? They're like, okay, how do we farm? And the guy's
Yeah.
like,
sand.
so you guys, I gotta go.
So that was a story when Cortez came over. That's why they joined up with him and didn't fight him. They actually thought he was a god coming back.
Oh, they're like, yo, this dude's gonna bring mad like
played on it
mangoes
too,
and shit.
Absolutely,
he
he did.
played on a big
Do you know,
time.
yeah, he's like, oh no, but I have these wonderful blankets that do not have this flu. Here you go.
Here you go.
Was he
What
the
was
one?
it? Pox or some
Oh, it
shit.
was not chicken pox.
Yeah,
Yeah,
um,
The black plague, not the. What is it? You know,
something pox. I think.
the milkmaids didn't get it on their.
But they were
hands.
also people from some handfuls of people from the tribe too. Who were like, we're getting pretty sick of human sacrifices.
Yeah,
Can you do something about this? Oh God, Cortez.
No, there wasn't.
that
was
was
there really?
that was the problem. The Aztecs,
People like helped them a bit
Yeah.
because there was fuck all of them compared to the Aztecs.
the Aztecs were the major military force, and they were like doing that. Everyone
There's
else
another
was afraid of
tribe.
them.
Another
'Cause they-
tribe was
like.
there.
Remember Apocalypto?
Yeah.
They used to come grab random people and take them
Oh.
and sacrifice.
So all
So
those
they're
little
like-
tribes
So it'd
all
be
joined
like
up,
joined
Sydney
with.
coming out and like going
Yeah.
to the rural areas and be like, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those when Cortez landed, he joined up with all those, and that's how they
So
overthrew.
he's a hero in a way to them,
Aztecs.
like the population.
I'm pretty sure
surrounding
he
Yeah.
enslaved them as well, though.
it. Oh, when he was done with the Aztecs,
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. More blankets for everyone.
they're like, yeah, we won, right? We won.
There is no civilization known to history that had the capacity or the need to survey the coastline in relevant period between 13,000 BC and 4,000 BC.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the shit we do now is like we don't need to be doing this. You know what I mean? Sometimes
Yeah.
so they got autism. You know what I mean? Some people just lack things.
Yeah.
There's no need for that.
So in other words,
Some people lack frogs.
the true enigma of the 500-year-old map is not so much the inclusion of a continent not discovered until 1818, but its portrayal of part of a coastline of that continent under ice-free conditions which came to an end 6,000
Yeah,
years ago
that's-
and have not returned since.
That's crazy.
And it's wild that information like just has kept for so long as
Yeah.
well to
yeah.
even.
Like I got no doubt the original shit's gone, but they copy paste over time.
That's what it goes on to say. Piri Reis was a well-known figure in antiquity, an admiral in the navy of the Ottoman Turks. He was involved in numerous sea battles around the mid-16th century.
It's Nendo.
no.
Nendo the Relentless, because I'd never relent.
He was also considered an expert on the lands of the Mediterranean. The source maps in which he used to draw up his 1513 map were all in probability located originally in the Imperial Library at
So
Constantinople.
he used it.
To which the admiral is known to have enjoyed privileged access. So he was able to go into that library and study however he wanted.
Yeah, and the point is, it was there before he knew it was there, and it helped him with because it took him. Yeah, so that's great. It was before he. Yeah, that's cool.
Those sources which may have been copied by even older or more ancient maps no longer exist or have not yet been found. So what he used to copy and make his map, they haven't found any other maps that he made up kind of thing. It is, however, in the library of the old imperial palace at Constantinople that Piri Reis' map was discovered.
So they found it.
So that's where they found his map.
Was it hanging out in the books or did he have it somewhere special?
It was painted on a gazelle skin and rolled up on a dusty shelf.
Yeah,
That
you
is
know it's old.
sick as.
And that
So,
was found
not
as-
for the gazelle, but that's
Do you
pretty
know
cool.
they found the last fucking Tasmanian tiger, the skin? They found it. Like they were doing a clean out of some area in some zoo somewhere or wherever the last one was killed
Yeah.
or died
Benjamin.
from neglect. Oh, fucking Benjamin.
Oh, Benjamin.
R.I.P. Benjamin. And they found it. They had the skin. They've kept it. And they just had it in like a fucking old box under something and someone was cleaning out. I have to find the story. Someone was cleaning out something and then they just found the Tasmanian, like its
cool.
skin and everything. They were just like, then they're just the absolute just neglect and what do you call it?
The
Well, it started off-
audacity.
They started off that way,
The
didn't they?
inco-
Neglect killed it, neglect the skin.
the incompetence of the staff to have lost that, and it was like a really big deal because you could have got DNA from it and everything because that's what they
Yeah.
were chasing.
Yeah.
And it was just in some fucking
Box.
archive box somewhere that no one knew it was
How
there or
recently was
checked.
this found?
I heard that news start. I want to say this year, but late last year.
Yeah, okay.
I heard that
So
news
real
article.
recent. Wow.
Like super recent, and the
Was
dude
it
was
kept as in like maintained? Someone maintained it, then put it through
Someone
in a box?
put it in-
Because
someone-
skin would disappear
it was
over
like
time
tanned
too,
it.
doesn't
Someone
it? So,
treated it.
yeah,
They treated
yeah.
it, and then they just was like,
So they've done a proper job on it, then
They were going to have a pizza party and they thought, oh, I better get this out of the way and put it in a box and put it in a cupboard that no one opened for another fucking...
someone needs to draw a map.
God,
on
what, it'd be 80 years? When did he go extinct? 1936.
Yeah.
So 80, 90 years?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he was just like, fucking whatever. And the dude was so disparaging about it too. He was like, the absolute incompetence of these people. Like,
And there's no one to blame because they're all dead. So just find their next generations and we'll fucking kick
But
them.
it's-
That's how it works there,
That's how it
isn't it?
works.
okay,
Yeah.
but who hasn't looked in that cupboard for 90 years?
That's a good point.
Do you know once in mining, I was going through a freezer and I found a bilby, like a dead bilby, because
What
one
the
of
marsupial?
the marsupial, because I was
Fuck
trying
off,
to.
you did.
I fucking did. This was out at Mount Owen.
In a freezer.
I found a dead bilby
Like
in the
the whole bilby.
the whole fucking bilby, because the Enviro guy, who was lovely but strange, as they pretty much all are out on the sites, had found a dead bilby. And I don't know if he was trying to hide it or something, because I feel like if you find a bilby on a mine site, that's a pretty special natural...
You're going to need to put up a picture of bilby for people.
No
to
one
go.
knew about it, right? So the bilby is like very extinct or whatever in Australia, highly endangered, if not already labelled extinct because of how rare they are. So he found it on a fucking mine site, and instead of reporting it or doing anything with it, he put it in the freezer.
I'm sorry, but there's so many places on a mine site where you can get rid of that thing instead of putting it in
I
a
don't think he
freezer.
wanted
Maybe
to
he
get
was
rid
trying
of
to
it. I
help
think
it. You
he
know, it might have been a
wanted-
bit hot. And he forgot it. You know when you put a beer in there to cool it down?
Oh, and you forget.
You
and the
forget it.
next
Oh
thing
my
the
god!
brains are
So
coming
he's
out
probably
to
put a
use.
bilby in there, cool it down a
You
bit.
put an extinct,
I forgot about it.
dangerously, what do you call it?
Highly endangered.
endangered animal in the freezer and then just forgot it.
Was that all heat stroke?
No, but like even you can joke about it, but even seriously, it's fucking weird, man.
Of
Like,
course it's weird. That's what I'm joking
I
about. It's
know
a
that-
bilby in the
That's
freezer.
but that's what I mean. Like, I think he did it. Maybe he didn't know what to do with it, and he was like, "Well, I don't."
We might have found it was dead. And
Because
he's like,
mine
here's
sites
some-
are sussy as. You could find the most endangered. You could find a Tasmanian tiger, and they would stop on it until it
Yeah.
was dead, and then throw it off the fucking
you don't
dump.
put it. You don't put a bilby in the freezer. A freezer though.
But I think he didn't know what to do with it, and then I'm just
That's
digging
the
through.
last thing I would
Dude, I was digging.
do if I didn't know
was
what to
digging
do.
through
With
the freezer, and I was like, what is this?"
So you actually found
Yes,
it.
I found it in the freezer. But
This doesn't-
but it was known about. Like people were like, "Oh, that's old mate's. That's his bilby," and no one just said. And I just put like the bag of onions back on top. And I was like, "R.I.P." I
So you
guess.
try to make yourself okay with it, like.
I didn't know what the deal was. It was
Well,
very
I
strange.
wouldn't know what to do.
I think he's like, "Oh, I might want to. What do you call it when you stuff them? Taxidermy it sometime."
Taxidermy that bilby.
I don't know, dude. It was weird. Maybe he came in and brushed its hair after hours or something. I don't know.
It's pretty messed up.
Yeah. Anyway.
Just a little bit. So that was found as recently as 1929, the Piri Reis map in the
Yeah, not the bilby.
library. Yeah,
Yeah.
not the bilby.
That's pretty
Unless
cool.
there was that old.
But it's
On
another.
gazelle skin, it even just adds
Yeah.
like that extra.
Doesn't it? Yeah.
Check your corners in your house or like wherever you go. Like
always
your
do.
local library, not our library though, because it's new-ish. Like they would have figured that out. But you know what I mean? If you live somewhere with a really old library, check the shelves and shit. Maybe someone hasn't touched that for 100 years. Like you don't know what you're gonna find.
Yeah, that's true.
It is also possible that the earlier ancient source maps may have been located in the Library of Alexander, which at one stage during antiquity was burned to the ground, erasing all ancient knowledge and literature that was contained
That's
within.
such a kick in the balls.
Why'd
isn't
they
it?
do that?
I think it was during. There's two different times when Julius Caesar, when he entered the city, they think he might have done it, but he was really like.
That's little.
In-
That's
He
little.
wouldn't. No, he wouldn't do that. He would have wanted kept. He
Yeah.
lost knowledge, didn't he?
Yeah, that's why they think it.
He
might
wouldn't
not
do it
have
like
been-
him, his friend. He wouldn't. No, he wouldn't
Yeah.
do that, mate.
No, I know him.
I know him.
Sounds like you're defending Harvey Weinstein or
Yeah.
something, and then it comes out he was, and you're just like, I didn't say that.
If you were innocent, he'd kill you, but he wouldn't burn a book.
Yeah. Or like during like a later war when they were getting invaded, might have been burnt down. There.
Burning books and libraries and shit is just such little dick energy. Like you don't.
When I was
even-
younger, I didn't care. Like watching that Indiana Jones thing with the Germans that were burning the books on the
Yeah.
fire. I was just like, why is everyone making a big deal about
We're
this?
like,
And you get
that's
older and you're
terrible.
like, that's pretty messed up because it is knowledge. It can never be.
Yeah, it's like the same as when Cortez went over to South America and that he like not him but his soldiers that he brought over. It was a priest or something like a missionary started burning all of their history that they had like stored in the temple.
That's
Yeah, because in
crazy.
his mind, you don't need this. You when you've got Jesus.
That's exactly what it was.
Jesus.
Like imagine what they lost there. Like,
Yeah, I know.
Could have been uncovered. Same
Well-
with the like Alexander.
But
and
it's
stuff.
like it's little dick energy because it's like you know that they're intimidated
It's
by the
threatened,
knowledge.
yeah.
Exactly. That's what they don't like. They like we want to control you. If we get rid of who you are as a people, your culture and everything, what are you going to go back to?
yeah,
Like who are you going to be? You need to be us. You need to be indoctrinated into this.
yeah.
We're done.
But like even I don't believe in religion. I think there's a lot of bad things come out
I
of it.
thought
But,
you were going
but
to say
what they
believe in
say,
books.
no, but what they doing over now in the Middle East or wherever it is, where
Oh,
they're hitting those
Palestine.
statues and tearing
Yeah,
things
tearing
down.
statues
Even
down.
I'm like, that's that's history that's just going to be gone now.
Never
Yeah.
mind the fact that they literally genocided
Yeah,
people.
like I don't
as-
believe in it, those gods or these and this and that, but I'm like, that's
someone's culture?
a story in a way or something that's just completely erased. I don't know
Yeah.
how you'd still
But
do
like
it.
that's
Yeah.
why they do it, right? It's the threatened. Like I want to disestablish your whole culture and who you
Destroy
are.
it.
I want to
Yeah.
do genocide. They're
Yeah,
being
that's true.
genocidal.
That's true,
Like,
yeah.
it's awful.
I can see that from a general's position.
Where you often imagine you sit.
Hi,
With
Martin.
my scepter.
You're at work and someone calls you up when you're like just driving. I don't know what you drive, but sometimes you're just like, "Hey, I'm a general's captain. Let me reassess the situation."
Another striking find was the discovery of the Orontius Phineas map, found among the pages of medieval charts and maps. It dated to 1531 AD. It had been copied and compiled from several earlier source maps drawn up according to several different projections.
Oh, he's talking about something he shouldn't be.
I'm feeling a bit choked up. Oh,
my God.
There is a vent up there. Someone's pumping something through. Like those old school, like, what is it, like old school pest mozzie things on the top. Someone that's blind, like the albino from fucking the Da Vinci Code or whatever the
I haven't
second
seen it.
one is. You seen that? The Paul Bettany plays him.
Oh, he's always
like-
whipping himself.
Yeah,
mad 'cause
he's like
literally just-
flagellating or something.
Yeah.
I'm thinking mummy vibes right now. We're doing something we shouldn't be, and they get the RDF Bay crew in here, and they're like trying to kill us.
But
The
it's
meta, what are the meta?
Mahaji or something.
Yeah.
Oh, what are they? Maharaji.
We'll go to go home. There's like 10,000 horses out there
Standing
lined up.
there. Yeah.
No, it's always a bad albino. Have you noticed that in movies? Like the really scary, awful characters always like albino, like a Banshee, the albino.
He's
and then
terrifying. I don't even.
The
yeah.
one in Paul Bettany's character, whatever, that flagellate. Why? Like they just have to add that. Like why
Yeah.
does it have to be albino? Like
Because I don't know, for some reason it's scary.
Everyone's afraid.
you ain't far off, son.
Sometimes I take my shirt off and go, oh, no, I'm
Yeah,
not there yet.
You're a year of being inside away from being pretty close. You just need the red eyes.
It also showed non-glacial conditions in coastal regions of Antarctica, notably Queen Maud Land, Enderby Land, Wilkes Land, Victoria Land, and Mary Bird Land. So it's the same as the Piri Reefs, just showed all these non-glaciated
Yeah,
areas.
yeah.
As in the same case as the Piri Reefs map, the general profile of the terrain and visible physical features match closely seismic survey maps of subglacial land surfaces of Antarctica. So it's just the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
The Piri Reefs map and Orontius Phineas map therefore provide us with a glimpse of Antarctica as no cartographer in historical times could possibly have seen it.
Right.
So there's just, massive evidence there for someone having been like sailed to these areas and,
hundreds of years before.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
written down all this sort of information for them to then
Well,
find
what's
and
the
recreate
case
their
to say
maps.
it's not true though? Just say they printed this after and made it up. There was no snow. They just ice there just to make it a
I can tell you exactly what it is. It would be propaganda.
exactly.
Exactly. It'd be
Okay,
propaganda.
this is 100%.
It would be propaganda from the colonizers to be like, no, I was there first.
Oh, yeah.
Burn everything that said I wasn't. There's no way it wasn't
That
me.
would
Like
be
I
a
don't
thing.
think I don't think that's so outrageous that they've like you've got this map. It's like yeah,
Yeah.
probably
you want to
like
be first to discover something.
if you ain't first, you're
so
last.
fast.
So that's just those were just another point of like maybe there was an ancient civilization where they did sail around and
I like that
drew,
idea.
drew all the
yeah.
coastlines and
I don't
stuff
think
like
that's
that.
I don't think that's an unfair assumption.
I'm not
idea.
sitting
I
here
think
going,
it's-
absolutely not. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I'm like, that's probably legit. And like we were talking about last week, people like to redefine history and pick the bits they like to keep and get rid of the rest because it makes them look way better than what they
Yeah.
actually were.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
drones that fly over, like you say, Amazon. You see those tribes that have no idea what's going on. Who's to say there wasn't people out there before they got wiped out or before they just, everyone else caught up to them
Yeah.
hundreds of years before, just
Well,
doing these sailing and doing
That
these
was too
things.
much to fit in here, but they have done like LiDAR and all that, and they're finding like the exact same structures
Yeah.
in the Amazon and that.
Yeah.
They've also found like a mulch like for growing that the Amazons created that we don't know how they created it.
Just for growing their crops or
Amazon,
whatever.
the Amazon, most of the Amazon rainforest has been cultivated by humans.
I've seen something like that. It was crazy.
How crazy
Yeah, it
is
was crazy
that?
where they're like, this section was here, and then they started outlining how when it went and when that went and then
Yeah.
when that went. It was crazy.
Yeah, it's called terra preta, the mulch dirt
Yeah.
fertilizer stuff, which we don't know how to recreate now.
Yeah. And they got like don't they have shitty laws or something over there where they can't stop them doing it as much as like you could in a more modern civilization where they're like, you can't.
Because they're poor and that's where they get their money from.
Yeah,
is-
exactly. It's not like they're going to put like, you can only do a certain amount of trees in this direction if you replant here. And
Yeah.
that they're just like, we can't stop
They
them.
don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
But the Amazon rainforest is the same. It's called the Guandolan. It's part of the Guandolan rainforest belt, which is what Barrington Tops is. Barrington Tops is extremely similar to the Amazon
I
rainforest.
think she wants to go there.
Listen, I know I'm.
What do you
mean,
mean? What do you
listen-
mean? Like, what do you mean?
So it's part.
similar?
It's called like it's like the same thing. It's basically like it's like kind of like how you were talking about like the belt where the Wendigo is mainly seen. It's kind of
Yeah.
all the same forest, and that it's the same forest. It's pretty much the same.
like the same trees and all that sort of
Yeah,
stuff.
it's called. Let me find it because it's actually really interesting.
There's fucking anacondas there?
That is crazy. Since our DNA is linked, like Aboriginal DNA is linked with South American DNA.
Well, like I said, it all started from, all of us come from Africa there
Yeah.
somewhere.
yeah,
and
Africa.
just went
then
across
spread
Europe.
out. Yeah,
And island hopped all the way down here. That's what they say. We all started Africa.
Yeah.
That's the very beginning. And
I think
then
I think that's right.
yeah, human or
Like
Homo sapiens did,
like
which
2
is
mil-
us.
like 2 million years ago.
Yeah,
there was all
wherever-
different branches of
Yeah,
humans.
there's Neanderthals lived over
More
Europe
Europe?
or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was Europe.
Yeah.
But we beat them all. We beat. It sounds like a sports game. We
Mm.
kicked the shit out of the Neanderthals.
Yeah,
They were up 6-1 at half time. We sort of made a comeback because of our brains, and they
Yeah.
got tired. But no, there was Neanderthals, like I said, midget type. Not
Floriensis.
no, they. Oh
That-
yeah, it might have been
yeah.
and they lived on an island,
Yeah,
like a big. When I say island, I mean
Java. They landed on the
yeah. So
island
there was
Java.
different types of humans,
Yeah.
and we were just clever. We were smarter, and we overtook them all, killed them all, and then
or like bred with them and integrated
yeah.
them.
So everyone's got like a percent. Well, not everyone, but some people do have a percent
Percentage,
Neanderthal
yep.
and a percent here and there. But we all come from Africa, so
Yeah.
there's no they would have just gone to
We're just the ones who won out. We're the ones who
who
survived.
beat the other ones. Yeah,
Yeah. I think it was like 9 other,
there was heaps.
9 or 13
Yeah,
other.
they thought there was like a certain number, then they found one more. But we're all that's what's Homos or Homos?
Yeah.
Homos. And we were Sapiens, Homos Neanderthal, and
Yeah.
whatever the rest are.
Yeah. And then we spread out. But what they say is like normally the way they tracked it was the humans went, like that's how they spread out through the world. But then they think that humans went up, like for the Aboriginals of Australia, like as I was talking about the land masses being high, they think they just went up through China, over the Bering Strait,
Yeah.
like through Russia, through the Bering Strait, back down through the Arctic, back through Canada.
Indonesian sorry, you're up at Canada. Yeah.
Yeah, all the way back down through North America and down into South America.
Yeah.
But there's no DNA traces all the way around.
Yeah.
There's only
right.
DNA's, Aboriginal DNA and South American DNA, which are linked. So they think they might have found a way to sail directly from
Well, that's true too.
Australia
Yeah. Instead
to-
of like splitting and going like that,
Yeah,
they could have sailed from like where Australia is across or
Yeah.
vice versa.
because
or
if it takes you 1,000 years to go around, you'd leave like genetic
Yeah.
DNA of where you've been.
Imprints or whatever. Yeah.
Oh, everybody fucks and sucks, my friend. So the Gondwana rainforest is named after the ancient supercontinent Gondwana that existed in the southern hemisphere 500 to 550 million years ago. So present-day Australia is a fragment of this southern land that started to break up 180 million years ago.
Yeah, so we're like connected.
Gondwana.
So
I thought
the
it was
Ama-
I think that was before
Patagonia.
No, it was. What was that one called before it broke up? Patagonia. Patagonia or something.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. But I think there was different stages. Like there was the one big one, then it broke in half, and then you had Gondwana and like Rune Land or something like that.
But that's what they're talking about, the forest, and it's like it's similar to the Amazon.
So it was there.
Because
Now
it's like a
not sim-
Gondwana, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But also like Barrington Tops, the forest, similar to like parts of the Amazon, is like one of the most unexplored
Yeah.
forests ever.
Yeah.
Like there are parts in Barrington
And it's thick.
where even
like,
the indigenous people have never been. Like that's what I mean. It's
so vast.
that's crazy. It's our backyard, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you doing next weekend,
Not that. There's a reason.
We're going thylacine hunting in Barrington Tops.
mate?
Is that
Thanks.
where old mate saw him?
Yeah,
If we
still-
find one.
Twice?
He well, when Jordan and I did the very first episode of this podcast, is the Tasmanian tiger extinct
Yeah.
or still exists? I can't remember. So long ago, we've done so many. Like we've come so far. I messaged a
OMG.
dude who had a news article saying he'd seen one in Barrington Tops while he was riding his motorbike, but then he got back to me, but not until after we'd filmed the episode, like so we could talk to him about
Yeah.
it.
Why didn't he kill it to prove he found it?
He was riding a motorbike and it ran in front of him, and then he wasn't the only one. Someone else saw it. Like it was a bit. His dad had seen them too.
Yeah.
They were camping somewhere very remote in there. But I'm guessing it must have been state forest if you could have taken your bike.
Must have been.
But yeah, that's what I mean by that. So there's lots of places like that that are still unexplored.
And
Well,
it
not
would-
lots,
and
but
it
there's a
would-
few.
And you think about how long ago they were extinct. So that was, 80, 90 years ago, the last one.
Yeah.
1936.
No,
Yeah.
It would take hundreds of years to build up enough to you when you start having sightings. Like, you're not
Like
going to
enough
just see them.
numbers.
In yeah.
Like their
Like,
population.
they could hide there for a while, for a few, like 100 years or so.
But I think
Yeah.
they were extinct even earlier on mainland Australia as well.
Yeah.
Like,
But you've never been there, have you?
No.
I used to travel though, but this is my way of going. Have you travelled to Tassie?
Jordan, how many countries have you been
Shut
to?
your mouth.
More than Josh.
But he's got boat money now, and all we have are these
Had
memories.
boat money. I spent it on the boat.
Josh had boat money. And we have
Tassie's got
unforgiv-
so much history that's so cool, eh? Shit, we've really come off track
Sorry,
with
yeah.
our story.
Continue,
Yeah.
Jordan.
No, that's right.
Is it?
No, it's
You
not.
sure?
I'm going to talk
Be
about
honest.
this after the show with you.
Metal Tiger off the rails.
Yeah, with you.
I brought it
Because
back.
George's looking at me and I've got like dead behind the eyes, like I'm trying to follow. I'm like, what's happening?
So now we're going to move on to the history of the Sphinx.
I love these ones.
Yeah,
We're talking about cat breeds, right?
sure. John Anthony West had first presented his thesis for an older age Sphinx in The Serpent of the Sky, a comprehensive exposition of the work of a French mathematician named R.A. Schwaller. So Schwaller's
Schwaller, what up?
research...
What's she swallowing?
Not your dick.
Oh, damn it. She beat you.
Swaller's research at the Luxor Temple between 1937 and 1952 had unearthed mathematical evidence which suggested that Egyptian science and culture had been far more advanced and sophisticated than modern scholars had appreciated.
Do you know when someone drops mathematical evidence,
Yeah.
don't even dispute it.
This dude was
It's
full on.
done.
This dude was full on, like, he got in deep with all these, like, science and mathematics that had to do with the Egyptian
Yeah.
culture.
This is what Dan tells me all the time. He goes, I don't understand why people think the aliens dropped off the pyramids. He's like, he's like, look at the mathematics of it. It's just like mathematical engineering with like a bunch of fucking slaves.
Yeah.
Like he's like the thing.
manpower.
He was
It's
like, yeah,
manpower
but he
because they
said
didn't have lunchtime or breaks.
But he said, like he said, he was like, it's crazy. Like it is crazy to think of, and it's almost inconceivable that they had done that, and it's wild back in the day to think about it. But he's like, that's
Because
what
now I
it,
want my TikTok break. I'm like,
it would have been like people with crazy science and mathematical backgrounds that were able to like engineer these
Yeah.
and had like disposable.
they had
slaves.
manpower, and it's like
Yeah.
work till you die. You die, I replace you with someone else.
But
Like,
that's-
I think you were
Kick you into
saying,
the dead hole.
yeah.
That's how it also comes with, like, a passed down knowledge as well, is how did all these people just suddenly learn how to build these
Yeah.
pyramids?
Yeah.
The thing
Like the equations
the thing
and
I
all that.
love that because he doesn't push aliens, does
No.
he, Hancock? No, I
No.
didn't think so. Because the thing I love the most though was, which I do find crazy, is when he talked about the big old sandstone or limestone blocks that weren't in the area. They were hundreds or thousands of
Yeah, it
kilometers
was
away, and he's like,
couple of
"How
hundred
the
kilometers
hell
away.
did they get
Not
these huge, heavy blocks?"
Yeah. It's not only that, they're not the bottom level. they're like halfway up the pyramid. And
Exactly,
stuff.
yeah. And it's just time. Time and manpower, I guess.
Was it the Jews that were the slaves? Were they enslaved there?
To do like the pyramid building and stuff.
I don't know.
Did Moses save them?
Were the Jews back
Or is
then?
that- is
I think that's just all like.
Is that the Bible?
Yeah, that's the Bible. and
No,
that.
don't mind
Is it
me
a bad
then.
thing to say were there Jews back then or back in the the days they built pyramids?
Yeah, I'm
and
pretty
that?
sure
Was
they
there just-
enslaved them, but I can't tell if that was the Bible or...
No, that's the Bible.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
They're
that's
doing
not
that.
that's not historical fact.
Stop it.
I'm looking at... I don't know. It could, well,
Leave hey, mate, we can have a pyramid without Jesus. Okay.
I think the thing about pyramids is we don't really know how they built them. Yeah,
Why?
they could use a lot of man force, but just how they would have needed like
because they're sick.
an incredibly long ramp, which would be there today, or they'd have to build.
Made
You
out of-
remember Pharaoh? They used to build up around the pyramid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They think that the
We've done a
corners,
foundation where they dug it out.
yeah,
and
the
they've done
corners
it.
wouldn't have been quite right, especially the stones they were kind of
Ropes
like
and
carrying
pulleys
up
would have
there.
been a thing back then, weren't they? Like,
Yeah,
still,
dude,
ropes not holding the limestone.
no, that's right. That's how big.
Yeah, 100% the ramp was made out of bodies. Like, where'd they go? They
Once
just,
one drops, you just put, and
Yeah.
then
The
new
first
guy to
crew
come in.
dies, it slides back down. Shh, next
Yeah.
crew, they're slipping on their blood.
Yeah.
You're slapping water on them, and they're like, "Please, sir, no." And they're like, "No, you get water like everybody else."
Yeah.
Just put all the bodies together.
I didn't bring the pyramids up because there's no real like evidence on that they were built by like the knowledge that did come from
Yeah.
a civilization.
I want to know why though.
What do you mean?
Why are we building pyramids?
Because it's
Dunno.
sick.
People
But
think
what's sick about a
Why did the
Triangle,
it's- but it's
three-dimensional
look what
triangle,
I
whatever
can-
it is.
Because look what I can fucking do. Because this
a
dude's hot.
triangle?
This dude's hot for this mathematician and scientist stuff. Whoever's ever in control of the time, he's just like, "Fuck yeah, that's sick."
Let's kill a few
They
slaves to
get
build
a
a
few.
triangle.
They can have a few shots together. They're having a good
There's
time.
got to be a
Tomorrow
reason
we
for that.
should-
You're probably right.
Do you know what I mean? Like-
There's got to be a good reason for that. And you know, that's probably right. I'm just
Because
gonna
if
go
they were
right.
doing it for their gods as well, right? Like in their eyes, they're probably like, "This is me making it for you."
Yeah.
Like it's like a.
Did they all wear triangle hats back then? Was that their religion? Like,
maybe.
let's build a big one.
Yeah, no one knows why they built. They thought it was for like a tomb, but there's no evidence that it was used as a tomb.
Wasn't it something to do with energy as well? Can point to that one to point to. I don't know. That's
Another
getting a bit-
theory is the mathematics of how it's built adds up to like the circumference of the Earth and stuff like that. They think that they might have been trying to communicate with a later civilization through mathematics because mathematics is the only language that can survive everything.
Everything,
Like everyone
yeah.
knows
Yeah, I've seen it,
mathematics.
yeah.
From, like if you're gonna,
Oh, okay.
No, I've seen
Yeah.
stories.
Not,
and
not
it-
everyone.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's not a big deal.
But maths is like a language
I
in a
know.
way. It's
Maths
like
is never.
Yeah, that's
it's
it.
never wrong. Like the answer is always the same.
it's wrong if you get it wrong.
Which I have experienced multiple times, but more of like when it's English and it can be open to interpretation.
Yeah,
what you're
maths
right,
is
it's like maths that answers.
Although I did see that lady come
out.
out and say, "Did you see that one where she come on one of those news shows not long ago?" And she's like, trying to change the world or whatever they do these days because everyone's bored. And she's like, "Yeah, but does 2 + 2 really equal 4? But does it? Like, if you don't want it to,
What?
does it have to equal 4?"
that's the way
It's
it's
like,
going. Yeah.
it's like,
No,
why can't it equal 5? And there was like a proper news thing. It's like, why are we getting crazy people on here?
because
Yeah.
Put a
they
squirrel on some skis.
Yeah.
100%.
Like Ron Burgundy.
Where do they source these? And then they go, "Yes, that's a lovely statement from
Yeah.
our far left."
No,
And
but
it's
it
just
was
like, don't lie them with it. You know what
But
I mean?
like it
With
was
the
a
far-
group with a full movement on like, but why does it have to equal 4? Like
'Cause
if I
they're
don't want it to
fucking
equal 4,
stupid.
it's like I don't
They shouldn't
know.
give. They
Do you ever
should.
think there's maybe creating chaos and like just shielding away from important events?
I don't know
Yes.
anymore. Yeah,
I
yeah.
think- no,
Why put that
probably.
on? Why put that on
It's
TV?
so dumb because people like us get so
It's not
angry
important.
about
so
it.
like
Yeah.
we're not angry. I'm at the point where I'm just like I don't care anymore.
It
If
makes
something
me
happens,
angry
then
because
something
I hate that they do that. It not like angry, but I'm just like fucking just. Why do you platform these idiots? Like, why do you?
because there's a
Because,
Reddit,
but yeah, out of the 100,000 people that watch it, there might be 100 people that are like, fucking yeah, she's right. And then they're just adding to the fucking idiots. And then
And there's
they just
idiots
put
that
them all
actually
in a
think it
room
equals 5.
together.
What about the guys that think it
Seal
equals
it.
5? That actually
what-
think it equals 5. They're like, cement proof there. She said it was.
But why is it the idiots that always want to do something? Like you say, you watch it and you're like,
Because
"Oh,
like, you want to do something all the time.
No, you know what I say? Like you watch it and you're like, oh, I don't have time for this. But then there's people that do have time for
Yeah.
it.
Because they get attention.
Yeah.
Like-
and they've got nothing better going on. They're bored. Like you said,
We
they're
say
bored.
sitting here with a podcast.
I could be in so many places other than here.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Playing games?
Yeah, waiting to pick my kids up.
Nah.
So basically, this Schwaller went in and he's just
Such a cool.
he's just
yeah.
using all these like science and maths and that and discovering all these different things. So, however, as West put it, this evidence had been set out in profound, complex, and uncomprising language. So basically, he's putting all this stuff down, and all the Egyptologists are just like, "Fuck you on about, man?" Like they don't understand what he's saying.
Yeah,
to
and
them.
they don't want to know about it. Then
No.
probably they'll just stick to the old shit we already found.
Literally.
Yeah.
It's a bit like trying to wade directly into high energy physics without extensive prior knowledge. Is how they explained it.
I can do a little bit of Pythagoras.
Nice.
Do you know what I mean? But can you imagine if someone came to you with all that other stuff and all you can do is maybe Pythagoras?
Yeah.
You would be like,
Yeah.
huh?
And what you don't understand, you just dismiss.
And they'd be in a position where they don't want to look stupid and they already feel pretty smart and they got a reputation uphold and they just go, get rid of it all together because I'm not putting my hand up to say, I don't understand. Can you please teach me? Let's look into it more and find out this is pretty cool.
Spent their whole life working on this stuff that they thought they've already figured out. So that's now what it is. You can't change that.
But like, even if you want to learn, I really wanted to learn maths. I just fucking couldn't. You know what I mean?
I think maths is a natural thing. Like, I wouldn't say I learnt it. I just found weird ways of doing it. It's just a thing. You either got it or you don't. Like, I don't have anything else.
I don't care. You know how sometimes you say you're just not interested in certain. Like, I don't know. Like, I get
numbers. I
get why people
weird
like
numbers
it.
in your head. Yeah.
I just don't. I don't. You
Sometimes
know what I mean?
I'll formulate an answer. I'm not saying I'm like a super smart at maths. I'm not. But sometimes I'll formulate an answer in my head without really doing the calculations on a hard one.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's the answer. I'm like, I don't even know how I've done that.
Yeah.
Like
or you do it at school and then the teacher marks you wrong because you didn't do the way she did.
Yeah, and I
that's
do it.
wrong.
Dad, because Dad's not bad at maths either. He's pretty good. And I done it. I told him the other day how there was something we come to, and he got there before me because he's better than me at maths. But I got there, and he's like, I said the way I done it, and he's like, it's fucking strange, man. He's like,
Really?
He thought it was strange how I added this number and took that one away. It's so weird. But I told Tilly my way, and she does it, and she gets there heaps quicker.
Oh, you're breeding them.
Yeah. I tried teaching Izzy, and she's like, what's a number?
She's like, we're having food or what? We're gonna have dinner.
But anyway,
So in his late work, Swaller's made a passing reference to the tremendous floods and rains which devastated Egypt in the 11th millennium BC. So that aligns also with the Younger Dryas as well.
Yeah.
What we were talking about earlier. Almost as an afterthought, he added, a great civilization must have preceded the vast movements of water that passed over Egypt, which leads us to the Sphinx already existing, sculptured in rock off the west cliff of Giza. The very same Sphinx whose leonine body, excluding the head, shows indisputable signs of water erosion.
That's so what I remember listening to that. Yeah,
this is
It's
just a
nose
side. This is just a side note of what he's so into that mathematics, so into science, without even noticing. He's basically just written this down as a side note kind of thing, and that's where John Anthony West picked up with this, and started rolling. Like he thought there's more to this, so
if
he
this
picked
means
it up.
this, then that means this. And
West goes on to quote, I realised that if I could prove Schwaller's offhand observation, this would be ironclad evidence for the existence of a previously unidentified high civilization of distant antiquity.
Yeah.
So the Sphinx?
What's its thinking?
I think she said that wrong.
The Sphinx is supposed to have been built by Khafre around 2,500
Built
BC.
by who? Like a civilization or?
No, Khafre, like the pharaoh.
Oh, the Pharaoh Khafre.
He wanted to be a cat. He went, meow.
That's because they think
Build it.
the only reason, like, there's nothing written down about this. They just think that it was around this time because his face is the one they think is on the Sphinx.
Oh, really?
But they think that's
it's not a common face.
Do you know all I'm imagining is Banjo Kazooie?
Oh, the Pharaoh one, the
What's
desert
what's
level.
it called? Gobi's Valley.
Desert. No, Gobi's Desert.
Gobi's Desert.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when you go there and you have to shoot the eggs into the Sphinx.
right.
You remember that?
camels and stuff like
But they have
that.
the Sphinx there too, and it's pretty accurate to.
So Banjo is back. What? I was like, where's this going now?
It's pretty accurate to.
Because we used to call it Gobby.
Gobby,
Instead of
until we
Gobi.
learn.
I'm gonna don't hit me on the back and water this palm tree.
Oh yeah, that dumb bloody palm tree.
Why is it called the Gobi Desert?
Because Gobi was the name of the Sphinx, I think.
Because the Gobi was the name of the camel in the game.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, it was too.
It was
Because
Gobi's.
the Gobi Desert's in China.
I thought it was Gobi Valley. Gobi's Valley.
No, it was definitely Gobi's. Oh, I don't know. Where's my? We need to find out.
I need to know that too because it's going to bother me.
You keep going while she works that out.
I'm having a break too.
Okay.
Gobi's Valley. Yeah, it's Gobi's Valley.
God damn it! Why can't I be right just once?
Gobi's Valley Banjo Kazooie guide. Well, we don't need a guide because
Can we go through all the other levels now?
Stop.
Hammer time?
Okay, as we were saying, the Sphinx is supposed to have been built by Khafre around 2500 BC, but since the beginning of dynastic times, say like around 3000 BC onwards, there just hasn't been enough rain on the Giza Plateau to have caused a very extensive erosion that we see all over the Sphinx's body. So they're saying it was built at 2500 BC.
Yeah.
but all the water erosion on it, has not been that much rainfall on the Giza Plateau to
Okay.
cause that amount of erosion.
Do they know how they built it?
How they build it?
Like, wouldn't the materials it was made from be something taken into consideration?
Like
When-
how much water's eroded on it.
Yeah, like what did they build it out of, and how much does that get
It was
eroded by water? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
if
they
you
would.
build it out of
That's
fucking tissues,
how they
it
would
would
have
be gone after
that's how they
one
would have
rainfall.
found out the erosion. The not
Yeah.
the erosion,
Rain or-
sorry, the
how much erosion's on it is
Yeah.
how long it's been standing
Yeah.
kind of thing.
So that's what they would have figured out.
Yeah.
What's it made from? How does that hold up
Affect
against
it.
water?
Yeah.
How much water has been to create that level?
I can see him there now, and Breeze says all that, and they're like, "Oh, why did we think of that?"
yeah.
Like some dude wakes
up-
up in the middle of the night. Don't you fucking ever open your mouth about that ever again.
Just tell him you've seen a mummy. And fuck off.
You'd have to go back to before 10,000 BC to find a wet enough climate in
Damn right you
Egypt
would.
to account for weathering of this type and on this scale.
There's a lot of jumping around.
So it therefore follows that the Sphinx must have been built before 10,000 BC, and since its massive, sophisticated work of art, it also follows that it must have been built by a high civilization.
I agree.
Otherwise, it would just be like a blob. You guys love it.
It's okay, right?
Yeah. What is it? Ah, fuck you guys. No, sweetie. No, that's not what I meant by that. I just would love some.
You guys always do this to me.
Nothing's ever good enough.
So one problem that arises to destroy this theory of West is that couldn't the erosion be due to desert winds? So I think that maybe winds and like sand
But where's
blasting
the
may
how?
have done.
Yeah, it's true. Because then, where's the line though of erosion in terms of when the wind? Are they saying it was half covered at one stage, and the wind was hitting that section, and then hitting this section at this stage, and
Yep. So this is countered by the argument that the Sphinx is set in a hollow sand. It's set in like a hollow. So they've dug the Sphinx out of this
so
bedrock.
over time it started being
Yeah.
covered, and yeah, right.
So sand piles up to its neck within a few decades if it's left unattended. It has been left unattended often during historical times. In fact, through a combination of textual references and historical records, it's possible to prove that during the 4,500 years that has elapsed since it was so-called built by Khafre, it's been buried to its neck for as much as 3,300 years.
yeah, right.
Do they dig it back out again? Is that what they
It's
do?
been dug out multiple
Okay.
times,
Fuck, that's so annoying.
So it's in an area that over time it becomes buried.
buried by sand.
What else is buried in them fields?
Yeah, keep digging.
The bodies.
Yeah.
So many bodies.
That means that in all this time, there has only been a total of over 1,000 years in which the body has been susceptible to wind erosion. The rest of the time being protected by a protective blanket
That's
of sand.
true. Yes.
The
I like
point
This is me. I'm a pancake. Call me a pancake because I be flip flopping. That's what it feels like.
The point is that if the Sphinx was really built by Khafre in the Old Kingdom, and if wind erosion was capable of inflicting such damage on it in so short a time span, then other Old Kingdom structures in the area built out of the same limestone should show similar weathering, but none of them do. None of them show the same weathering as the Sphinx.
Because they were built after.
They're
Yeah,
saying
wonder
that
what-
all
I
this
wonder
stuff
what-
was built at the same time. Why does the Sphinx show erosion and all these other
Exactly.
places don't?
Were
And
they,
they,
what
and
were
they
the
weren't
other,
covered up.
were the other
for the
places like
majority.
Yeah.
medical facilities and stuff like that? Was the first thing you built was like, let's build this fucking Sphinx here, and they're like, please, sir, we need a hospital.
need a
And he was like, shush, 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 build the Sphinx.
Or were they well looked after in terms of polished every day?
So this all this was basically just like that Schwaller, his evidence of it, and then John Anthony West looking at it. And John Anthony West isn't an Egyptologist. He's just a guy that's really into Egypt.
Yep.
Like he knows all the shit, but he doesn't have an actual degree. So
Oh, okay. So that's the difference between being an Egyptologist and just having a very intense.
yeah,
But he
interest
sort of
in it.
looked at the numbers.
yeah,
He didn't pretend to be an expert on things. He just looked at the numbers from the experts.
Yeah.
He loved
So
it.
so all these experts have just chucked out all these theories and stuff. They're like, you don't have the paperwork to tell us that this is happening. We're not going to acknowledge what you're
Oh hell
telling
no!
us.
You best believe I'm signing into what's that school that Saul Goodman went to, like the Pacific Islands University of
Yeah.
Law or some shit. I'm signing up to that and I'm getting a degree.
I hate that because you don't have a ticket in something.
Yeah.
Therefore, your voice isn't heard. It's like
That's
you
it.
don't. You probably have the same amount of knowledge as me. You
Yep.
just paid 30, 40, 50 grand to get it.
This is a guy that spent his
So
whole
rub
life
dirt on that
researching
wound.
it.
just to buy a ticket.
Yeah. That was all up until enter Professor Robert Schoch.
Oh, the names just keep getting better.
Yeah.
Dick Shock. Oh no, that's Richard. Never mind.
Swallow dick shock.
Bobby Shark. Next up, we're going to hear from Bobby Shark, who's going to be telling us all about
Bobby B, guy I met who found Antarctica.
Oh, yeah, the very same.
The very same.
Yeah.
Bobby B shark.
He's everywhere.
Turns out he's out there with his music going dun dun, fucking dun dun.
Is this like the
Jaws music? Dun, dun. I actually added a bit disco to it.
No, it sounded like the Shipping Up to Boston. You know the Shipping Up to Boston song?
I don't think we need to play it.
Just really quickly, let me just play it because you'll see what I mean. As soon as I heard it, I was like, what? Shipping Up to Boston is probably not like a bad analogy.
It's actually pretty cool so far. Yeah, I do know that one.
On the ship, man, like coming in, like, yeah.
Bobby B!
I was like, yeah, not bad choice, Josh.
Yeah. Accidentally made that up. Professor Robert Schoch, a Boston University geologist and specialist in rock erosion. Imagine being that.
Shipping up to Boston. He's a geologist.
As to the reason of what type of erosion was on the Sphinx, it did not take long for Schoch to give his thoughts on the subject. The weathering of the Sphinx and all the walls of its surrounding rock-hewn enclosure had not been caused by wind scaring at all, but by thousands of years of heavy rainfall, long ages before the Old Kingdom came into being.
Was everyone suitably shocked?
Oh, I get it.
Apparently,
she had an ED.
I heard a story. This John Anthony West was getting interviewed, and he said Schoch literally got off the plane, looked at it, and went, "That's water erosion." Like it took him 0 seconds to figure it out.
Didn't even lick it.
Yeah, I was literally went to lick my finger then and be like, "Shakara."
Yeah. So wind and sand erosion presents a very different profile of sharp-edged horizontal channels selected to be scoured out of soft layers of the affected rock. So they're like real sharp edges and horizontal.
Yeah.
Water erosion creates rolling, undulating profile, leaving deep vertical fissures. So you know, like at the mine site, and you probably would too, out in the pit. After it rains, you see those undulations on the wall? That's what's on the Sphinx. The exact same. So obviously caused by some water erosion.
Yeah, coal mining. That's what did it.
Yeah. Schoch goes on to add, I've been told over and over again that the peoples of Egypt, as far as we know, did not have either the technology or the social organisation to cut out the core body of the Sphinx in pre-dynastic times. However, I don't see this as being my problem as a geologist. I'm not seeking to shift the burden, but it's really up to Egyptologists and archaeologists to figure out who carved it.
Ah, fuck, it's them again.
Yeah. If my findings are in conflict with their theory about the rise of civilization, then maybe it's time for them to reevaluate that theory.
Oh,
basically,
yeah.
I'm
Everyone's
right, bitch,
thinking.
and you're wrong. I ain't telling you what to do with your job, but I'm just telling you from my perspective, I know what's up. And this is what's up. So maybe you should figure that out.
That's a mic drop moment.
Yeah.
It really is.
They were shocked.
He's not done.
Oh, he's not done?
Nope. I'm not saying that the Sphinx was built by Atlanteans or people from Mars or even aliens.
I'm just saying they're all dickheads.
I'm just following the science where it leads me, and it leads me to conclude that the Sphinx was built much earlier than previously thought. So he's just following the evidence.
I would have said something pettier. Like, I'm just following the science, and maybe you should consider doing that too, considering that's part of your job, isn't it? Just slowly.
See, I would have been pettier, but not that petty.
I mean,
drops a rock.
Yeah. Drops a rock. Because I'm a geologist, you see.
Also, the Sphinx was a marker for the equinox, with its gaze pointed directly and precisely at the point of sunrise on the vernal equinox.
Yeah.
So basically, like, you know, like the age of Aquarius and all that. All those.
Is that something to do with the stars align at a certain position every so few years? And they reckon they've pointed it at the stars and they've calculated it back to that time. I'm saying this like I don't know what I'm talking about. So it's like the stars, they always shift slowly.
Yes.
Every however many thousand years it is, whatever it is.
It's called the precession of the equinox. So it rises, whatever rises, the stars pointed before the sunrise.
Yeah.
That's the equinoctial marker.
Yeah.
So that's what age we're in.
Yeah.
So it's called the precession of the equinox. So every 72
that was it,
years, that'll move a degree.
Yeah.
So it takes 26,000 and something years to do a full...
And they picked which one of them it was. Because it wasn't built in that one, so it has to be the next one round. Then it wasn't built in that one. They can predict where it was built facing them at this time.
Yeah. So the last...
I understood it all, but I was like, this is very interesting.
Yeah, so like remember when they said the rainfall was 11,000 years ago? And the Sphinx, it's carved perfectly except for the head. The head is so much smaller.
Monstrous burst.
Faces and hands, very hard to do.
Yeah, it's smaller. It's smaller than the body, so obviously there had to be another thing there, and they've just recarved it. So the pharaohs probably come along and went, "I want my face up there." Recarve it.
Oh, so do you reckon it was like a cat? Because they used to like fucking dig cats, and then the pharaoh was like, I could be up there.
Do you know at the exact time they think it was built during like those rainfall seasons 11,600 years ago or whatever? Do you know what the equinoctial marker was at that time?
Feline.
Leo.
Leo. That makes way more sense. It would have been a lion's head.
Yep.
Were there lions in Egypt?
Yeah. In Africa.
What do they call is it black lions or something? There's like a big lion that it is in up near Egypt way.
The Savo lions were the biggest of their kind.
Oh, were they? There was like a different breed of lion up near in the Egypt. There's it's like a big.
Is there? I heard about there's an island of big lions because they're cut off and all they hunt is like buffalo.
Where are they?
It's like an island in Africa and they're like super sized lions.
Google that because that sounds sick.
Google it.
So you reckon due to the stars, and I think this is why a lot of people speculated that the aliens helped with it because they were trying to send a signal back to the aliens as like, what do you call it? Like a landing point or whatever.
Yeah.
But it was more like we're in Leo.
Sorry, I love that aliens, so sophisticated as they are, need landing points on Earth instead of like in their beep 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 GPS.
Yeah, like
Where's the pyramid?
like airports. They needed airports to land. Yeah.
It seems silly, hey, and if you land in the wrong spot, you could be like, oh no, just a couple of meters that way. Like this. So they built it because of the stars, and it was kind of like the Aztecs, right? Like they were all into stargazing and everything as well. And a lot of the stuff that they did revolved around.
It was just too much to fit in here. Like I read through all that stuff, and it's got all that in his books. But it'll have to be another episode because it was just so much information.
So they built. You reckon, and it makes way more sense because the Sphinx does look like a crime against nature, like how the head's just slippy slopped on the body.
Yeah.
So your theory is that they probably built. It would make sense
A lion.
that a lion, because it was because of Leo, it had a lion's head, and then they just
Butchered it.
put this fairy's head on it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, he went all on my head up there, and then they just carved it out of that.
could you imagine being his like personal assistant or whatever they had back in the day, and they're just like, "Oh my lord, are you sure you want to do that?" And he's
I
just
don't
like,
think
"Yes,
that-
I want
I
to."
really hate lions.
Yeah. It'd be so awful.
They
You're like,
wouldn't have
oh,
questioned those people.
no, but you know
Yes,
what?
sir.
Yeah, but you don't question your boss at work a lot of the time too, but you still think he's a bit of a fuckwit. You know what I mean? Like sometimes they
Yeah.
ask for shit and you think, fuck, you're an idiot.
But they had
Okay.
avenues. We have avenues to pull it up sometimes. Back then, it would have just been
Like what? Oh,
put
yeah,
his head on
because,
his line.
because
Yeah.
HR doesn't work for the company.
Yeah, so basically, and the sign that was there when they said it was built 2,500 years ago was
The sign said that.
was no,
It's missing a few numbers. 2 million?
was Taurus was the bull.
Oh, what?
So you would have
Oh.
thought they would have like carved a bull out instead of the lion. So it's very coincidental, but I think that's enough evidence to show that.
But like you said, all this information that's happened, it's at the very least, something that they should probably all get all the experts to knuckle down on.
Yeah.
Instead of
But they
they
didn't
don't.
let the other fella. Because he didn't have a piece of paper from a university. He
Yeah,
just
so
had,
they don't, but they can't push shock away because shock's got a degree.
that's what I mean. So now they're like, fuck.
Yeah, so they
They're
got
not
some.
gonna be nice to him,
They got
though.
some fight. No, they don't. They're not nice
Are they
to him
still
at all.
not nice to him?
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah, they
he
still-
seems nice.
They still say what he's saying doesn't make
The
sense.
geologist or the other fella?
There's Egyptologists.
So the Egyptologists are like shitty at shock.
Yeah.
But you can't be because you.
Shock's very conservative. He doesn't stick his neck out and all this sort of stuff. But when he got there, he said, "This is the hard evidence. This is what I see."
It's like Linda S. Godfrey with the thing where she's like, "This is just how it happened."
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm just reporting.
Werewolf lover.
That's what you say.
Yeah.
Like you said, he's just reporting on what he's seen. So, but the geologist, you got to kind of respect that, right? Like if you want to say you don't know shit because you don't have a degree in that, so you don't get to speak.
yeah,
You can't also say to someone who does have a degree in it,
yeah,
no.
They'll just say
You
there's
can't-
more of us than you. It'll just keep an excuse after
you-
excuse.
yeah.
If you want to use that as an excuse to debunk someone, you can't use it. You can't then try and be like, oh no, when they have the degree to back
It's
themselves
just like
up.
they're always shifting the goalpost. You get this guy that has a degree. Oh, we're going to shift this over here and
Yeah.
say, he doesn't know anything about this. But all the evidence is there. It could be a coincidence, and it even could go back further. Like we're talking about the precession of the equinox. It could go back 26,000 years.
Yeah.
I'm going to claim it and I'm going to say Egyptologists are fucking weirdos. Like people who are really overly interested in Egypt. And I say that as someone who is. Do you know what I mean? Like you're not normal. Like you're just not. That's a weird fucking thing to be interested in. Like I get why you are because I fully
What
am
Egypt?
as well.
It's a weird thing to be interested in.
Like to
all
be
the cool stuff.
No, to be an Egyptologist,
Oh,
to have
yeah,
a degree in it, and to be like sticking your dick in like Tutankhamun or whatever, like as a metaphor for how much they love it, sort of thing. When someone comes with like a scientific degree, I'm not saying that Egyptologists aren't, but you know what I mean. Someone that's just like you said, I study rocks. This rock told me
Yeah.
this, and they're like,
Oh, so it's
no.
like 2 degrees clash, and it's like specifically Egyptology, and then it's like a geologist.
But I feel like
There's
Egyptology.
like the rocks speaking to me, and they're like, yeah, but
That doesn't suit what we're saying.
No.
But Egyptology is more, I feel like, a study of
History.
the culture and
Or
the study
history,
of the
really.
history
Yeah.
of Egypt, as it is opposed to like this is like you say more like a mathematical approach of this is a
Yeah.
rock. This has it's science. It's
And
It's
he's
more,
like-
it's more
yeah.
turning into ideology, the
Yeah.
Egyptologists, because they've studied it their whole lives.
They got a
They
cool
found this
story
stuff,
now.
But anything new comes in, they just try to refute
Yeah.
it straight away.
They sound like mean girls. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
I'd be friends with.
Whereas
So-
geologists is like, the rock's telling me this, and the rock's like, Patrick tried to kill me.
Yeah.
And then Pharaoh's like, no.
So there's one last subject I want to bring up because it's just so much information. I had to like, try and pick
Would've
out
been
like
hard.
all the interesting
What'd you
stuff.
say?
It would have been hard.
He said, I'm getting hard. like, I have to live.
Yeah, my
Um,
dick is very engorged right now.
Yeah. Like then
It's engorged. I love that word, engorged. Sorry, guys.
Slow down,
Still
honey.
engorged.
Gorge, the word.
Yeah, no, thank Christ for contents at the start of the book because that's where I had to like
Table
choose a
of
chapter.
contents.
Yeah, I had to choose a chapter and then go get my information from there. But this last one is the ancient drill holes found all around Egypt. So an investigation has been going on in Egypt for the last 150 years. Many holes have been discovered in multiple sites around Egypt, but these holes have an interesting quality. They appear to have been drilled. So often
Oh.
found drilled into old megalithic structures
Manpower?
made from material as hard as granite or diorite
Oh,
and ranging in all various sizes. And this is like a conversation I'd like to have with Dan because he's like a he's
an engineer.
engineer, so he'd probably know all about this sort of stuff. I'd just like to know what his take is on
Just
it
ask for tidbits.
because like what
No
I've read
problem.
and then see what he thinks about
Like
it.
a hypothesis based on what he knows.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say sandworm like June. I got real excited for it. And I was
Oh,
like,
now I am
more
too.
science.
Yeah,
Are we going to the
more
movies to watch
science.
that? Let's
It's
go to
shut
the movies.
down.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
not
they're
travelling
not
any
open
further than
anymore.
Singleton.
That's what I was like too. You don't go to Singleton, do you, ever? You always
No.
go to Maitland and that.
Yeah,
Josh got boat money. You
Yeah.
got that Maitland cinema money.
I got
Hey, I don't. I go alone to Singleton Cinema.
That's what I used to do when the kids were in daycare.
Yeah, I go by, I go
Dan's
by
ringing
myself
me
a
and I'm
lot.
like,
Or
huh?
used to.
Dan's ringing me and I'm like, he's like, where were you? And I was like, why are you always up my ass?
I was with my
Yeah.
friends. Okay,
No, but I literally just at the cinema. It's watching a movie.
so these drill holes contain the signs of what appear to be machine markings displayed in grooves inside the holes. It's if you look at photos, it's like incredible. Like it
How
actually
big
looks
are the
like machine.
holes?
They vary in size. They vary from like massive ones like this big to like
Okay.
smaller ones that are that.
What-
And they've also found the core samples taken out. So they've drilled in. These core samples have been taken
How long
out.
ago is this?
This is they don't know how old this could
When
be.
did they first find them though?
Oh, back when like research like early 1900s.
I'm calling it. It was America looking for oil. Calling it.
It can't be. Like, there's no reason unless you go into the extraterrestrial drilling and that. There's no reason why you'd be drilling holes so long ago, just like that.
Yeah.
Like they
what
would have
samples
something
would
that. Yeah.
What would they need to drill holes for to find out that deep? Samples of what?
Don't know.
Well, isn't
But
like,
it's in
Well, we found coal. Let's then
It's
put
not-
dynamite in there. It would have
it's
been.
not in
Wouldn't
the
have been
ground.
dynamite.
These holes
right?
aren't in the ground. They're in like megalithic structures. So like in the sides of like statues, in blocks at the bottom of the pyramids and stuff.
Oh,
like
so
that,
maybe
all
people looking
around.
for things, going and thinking something might be buried inside, or
But these are like old,
yeah.
like
that's just,
really old.
It's just graffiti. Like it's vandalism. At
No,
this
but that's
point.
a lot. That's a harder work for vandalism to drill through.
The slaves had a lot of time on their hands.
I don't think they did. I think they were mostly dead or working on.
Do you
the-
think maybe? I mean, it could be anything. It could be someone going, I wonder what it would take to drill that. Do you know what I mean? It's like, let's just test it.
These aren't modern drills.
Yeah, that's what it's like. What did they use though?
I just don't understand
that's-
why they drill.
That's
What's the purpose of drilling into? What are they drilling into again?
like the megaliths, like structures into massive 2-ton blocks. It's all over Egypt.
As in things that have been done already, like
Yep.
things that have been. Or well, they're probably looking for things that they're like, oh, something's encaved inside. They build around something. There might be treasure or whatever.
But this is they're drills at the same time as these things are being built. These aren't a later thing.
so the same. At
This was
the
some
same
this
time.
was some sort of ancient technology that they were using.
Well, how do you can't drill back then without a drill? That doesn't make any.
Yes,
It doesn't
you
make
could.
sense.
Yeah, but you look at the drills we have now. They sometimes there's some rock they can't get through.
That's what I'm going to get into.
Yeah, but you would have to have people holding that thing. 'Cause
Holding
it
what
comes
thing?
You
A
know, you got
jackhammer?
a drill, and it's like this, and then it goes, burp, 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 and then you hold that bit and go,
No, but that wouldn't be enough to get through. And plus, the material we have in our drills now are like the best material to pierce through stone. They wouldn't have had.
Do you know what you wouldn't be able to with that attitude?
You're right. I wouldn't have tried. I would have sent me men home to do something more.
Yeah. So one of those granite
Yeah.
one of those granite cores was discovered. So what they had taken out, and one of its most startling features was the spiral groove carved around its body. So you had the spiral in the place that was cut out of, like the hole,
Yeah.
and you also had the spiral around the core that you had taken out.
Wait, so if it's cylindric, it would have to be hollow to take a core out.
No, like say you got a solid rock,
Yeah.
and pretend that you got a round drill, and you just drill into it, and then you got what you pull out is solid. So you pull a
how does that
solid
happen,
core
though?
out. What do you mean? How does it happen?
Because isn't it if you drill into something, like if you drill into wood, say, it spirals around the outside of the drill, there isn't really a core. Like if you want to get a good chunk of core, doesn't the drill have to be hollow in a place that you can drill around it and then pop it out?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Think of like a circular saw.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, the saw's actually hollow. It would have to be hollow.
Yeah, okay.
They couldn't just drill a hole into it.
That's what I was thinking. I was like,
Yeah.
is this granite gone spiraling out?
Yeah,
the
no.
top?
So they'd drill into it and
So
they'd
that's
leave
another
the core,
layer
and then
of
they'd
crazy.
and then they'd use chisels
That's
to
what I mean. This
snap
just
it off.
sounds too advanced, way too advanced.
We'll
Way even for now.
Yeah.
We'll get into the grooves indicated a feed rate of 0.100 inch per revolution of the drill. So that doesn't really make any sense to you because you don't really know how
It's
drills
telling
work.
you how fast it goes as well. I guess.
That
yeah.
feed rate is 500 times faster than any modern diamond
Doesn't make- yeah,
drills,
well, it's
which
obviously-
penetrate at 0.002 inches per revolution.
It's obviously not true or aliens.
Aliens.
It's got to be. There is no.
or some sort of ancient.
We just had a fast crew on the day.
These slaves were good.
Yeah.
They're from
Yeah.
a good crop.
That's good breed of slaves.
Kill them.
Fact. Yeah.
They might kill us. Kill them.
I want to cuddle from that slave. How would they even? I can't even think of a device they would make to drill, like a base. Just think of
To-
a
to
base.
have
drill
to-
holes.
But to have
Or what
to
they drilled into.
to make
Mate,
it,
that's a
what do you want
machine.
to?
It doesn't matter what anyone says. That's a machine.
Yeah,
100% a machine. Simple. There, I've
you've solved it.
solved it. That's it's a machine. It's not like an old wooden bloody catapult looking thing they've built with a long rod and.
How can they date that? Like what
Yeah,
about
that's
it
true
makes
as
them
well.
date it?
That's in the hieroglyphics and stuff like
okay.
that. They're like a.
Were they mad
historical
about
record.
it in the hieroglyphics?
Yeah, there was an angry bird.
No, I mean, like, did they write about it like it was a disparaging thing to have happened? This drilling.
No, I think it was all part of like their building techniques and stuff like that.
Oh,
No one really. No, it's just a mystery. No one knows how it's
this
come to play out.
shit stops me from sleeping at night.
So it's just another
Super confusing.
thing.
Like you said, why did they do it? So you'd have to really want to do it to have to come up with something that's capable of doing it, right? So you'd
Yeah.
have to have like a pretty good
And
incentive.
I can't even think of one thing why they wouldn't
and they
need to
said
drill
something
holes
like to get that amount of feed, that rate, it'd have to have on top of it like 3 tons worth of weight or
That's
something
what I
like
mean,
that
the-
to push into
Yeah,
it at that
'cause
fast.
back then without machines the way they work now, they'd have to have like an opposite. What is it like physics? They'd have to have an
Yeah.
opposite sort of weight or pull to get a drill bit put. How would they even spit? I don't know. Aliens.
Aliens.
It's got to be or an advanced race of some sort.
Some
where
sort of
they-
technology.
It's
Well,
got to
like
be
you
machines though. It can't
Okay,
be
but like
like
you said,
physics.
like,
Physics isn't going to do. I wouldn't think would.
It'd help, but it wouldn't be.
But
You'd
would
have
you
to
come
have
up with some-
you'd have to have an
And then
actual
like Bree
tool.
said, why are we drilling holes?
But also, aren't we the most advanced race, and we don't even really have stuff like we are only just getting stuff like
But
that
are
that's
we?
capable.
I think that maybe there was more advanced race.
The,
than
the
us. That's
Amazon,
what-
different.
the
Just
Amazonians
different.
came over. They're like, check out what this snake can do.
It talks. Well, they win.
Kevin, please,
They win.
Kevin, please don't make me do this again.
Don't make me eat that poisonous frog. I was pooping for weeks. Did you poop anywhere for weeks?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Do you have to leave it at that?
yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
feel like.
that's it. Well, there's plenty of other stuff, but it was just too much information to put in.
Stop putting these things in my brain. It's like a weevil buried
I'm
in
gonna Google
there.
that tonight now. B will
Oh,
be like, "What are you
good
googling?" I'm
luck.
like, "Don't even ask."
There's a real good YouTube video on it. Just it's like the first YouTube.
But those
video you
holes, that's machine for sure.
The Americans were looking for oil in monoliths.
Back in the day,
Google. Yeah.
They were the first one to invent drills because you got to get it out some way.
that was cool though because it's like shit that's actually happened.
I've literally
Yeah.
never heard of any. Like when I say never heard, like I've heard like the cliff notes of certain things, like with Egypt and the aliens coming down or whatever. But I didn't know about all the other stuff with the maps and like the crust of the earth.
Yeah,
and all.
he was good because he didn't push aliens. He pushed like just natural shit that's happening.
I think he pushed anything. He just
Yeah.
said this is what I've learnt.
It's just the information he's got. He's just a reporter. That's all he is. He just reports on
Yeah.
what happened.
I'm still really mad about the whole shock thing with those Egyptologists. I think they should apologise at the very least and say, you're just doing your job. We understand. We're doing our job poorly, obviously. But yeah, Why are you so offended by it? Like, are you threatened by this geologist? Sounds like you are.
That's basically what it is.
That's what they are.
And that's what I'm more interested in now is the drama behind everything. I
Yeah.
think there should be a show about that, and I want
Sounds
to
like,
hear
sounds like Single and Touch.
Oh, really? Is that bad? Is it?
But that's great. Like that drill thing. Oh,
There's also little tidbits like, have you heard of the cocaine mummies?
Don't start. Don't. We're at 2 hours because I want to know so bad.
I'll just add this. There's been found in sarcophagus, like what do you call them?
Sarcophaguses?
Thank
Do
you.
you snort
That was
them or
actually
have they
done that
snort
well. That was
stuff?
good.
So there's been
Thank you,
found
foliage.
cocaine with these mummies that were buried like 2,500 years
Sick
ago
party,
or whatever.
bro.
And cocaine only comes from Colombia in South America.
But does it?
Yes.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, because it's come from there and they got it now. So
So how'd they get that?
Apparently, all these cultures. They think all these
You
cultures
find
lived
cocaine
everywhere.
anywhere.
yeah.
Yeah, and none of them knew anything about each other. That's how they think. But cultures are so similar. Like the people over in South America, they were building pyramids at the same time they were building pyramids in Egypt. You think that's
Yeah.
It's
a
all too
coincidence?
similar.
And
It's
do you know
all
what's,
too.
to be super fair, if I'm going to go and befriend another fucking culture of people that will probably try and kill me, I'm bringing cocaine.
Yeah.
And well, that's probably a bad idea. But more like, check out what we have
Yeah.
that you could have some of.
Yeah.
Also have some alcohol. Please, no, don't kill him. Oh, he's done it.
Yeah.
Oh, he's done it.
Yeah.
Whoopsie.
There's just evidence for all these cultures trading with each other, but these
Yeah.
other the people who are in charge is like, nah, they didn't know each other. They didn't know what was going
So
on.
open the can of worms. They have to reevaluate everything, and,
Yeah.
No one wants to do that.
and their names won't be on it anymore.
So
Oh.
basically, they just think civilization, is not as old as what it actually is.
Do you know what this is giving me? Jaws vibes. The Jaws episodes we did where all the fucking
Sharks don't attack people.
ichthyologists,
Yeah,
we're
they
like,
don't attack people.
swim please, we need the money. Like that's what it's like.
Yeah.
It's like I don't
Yeah.
want to put my name on something because there goes all of me being the expert in this field.
One of their main arguments was with the Sphinx. Yeah, but show me something else around that time built anywhere else that matches that, like that long ago. Because back then we were only meant to be hunter gatherers, so we
Okay.
weren't building megaliths and that.
You were surviving.
So
there was
like-
no comedy shows.
Like, find me another one. Well, then over in Turkey, Göbekli Tepe was discovered, and it was built at least over 12,000 years ago as well. So these places are cropping up,
That's sick.
It's going to overload.
and
them.
this
It's
is
gonna be too
this
much
is probably
now.
going to overload you. But there is a pillar uncovered in Göbekli Tepe where it's high relief carving. That means it's not carved into the stone.
It's
It's
the,
carved-
the outside's carved.
It's carved
Yeah,
around
right.
it to create those depictions. And in that, there's a guy like holding a bag. They have been discovered all around the world.
Woolies.
The guy holding the bag,
He
the
got
exact
the
same
bag.
depiction, is discovered around, like in South America, over in Egypt,
and what
everywhere.
what's in the bag? Groceries. Like he's bringing something to
That's-
it's
well,
our
that-
god. That's like, hey, you want to see what's in here? Maybe some seeds.
They
Maybe
thought it might be like the bringer of knowledge.
Yeah.
That's what they think it is, the bringer of knowledge. Say Atlanteans or whatever, this ancient civilization, their home got destroyed. A few of them survived, went and survived with these like other cultures, the hunter-gatherers, because that's where you'd go if your
Yeah.
home they knew how to live without all that technology, and then you just passed on your knowledge to them. And that's why it was a sudden...
Boom. In like, yeah,
Evolution.
yeah.
I also love that. Like that's so generous of the Atlanteans, but they would have rocked up and been like,
What the fuck?
yeah. So like, where's your toilet?
Yeah.
They're like, huh?
Toilet.
Are you
Poop in my hands.
literally just
Yeah.
oh, toilet, and just like shits on the floor, and they're like, yeah. So
Okay, I'm going to tell you something.
Yeah.
I'm going to lay some knowledge on you.
So we're just gonna take a moment and reflect. I'm gonna help you guys out a little bit.
Yeah.
help. Let me help you. Help me.
We
Yeah.
like shitting in our hands though. Just wipe it on their robes.
I
Toilet.
don't know why I stink so bad. But anyway, that was
So, yeah,
excellent.
that was cool.
It's always nice to see everyone's different favorite things. I thought for sure I had it in with Skinwalker Ranch.
No, I was thinking about that because when I was researching this, I was like, this is too much information. I can't possibly, I'm just going to go to the one book, Skinwalker Ranch, and just do that. And then I was like, no, stick with it.
I feel like we should have named this podcast Tangent. Like going off on a tangent all
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
It should have just been called Tangent.
Literally.
Because I feel like when I write a script for the podcast, however long I think it's going to take, I double it. Because
Yeah.
you've got to allow for the tangents.
Yeah, that's why I said it might be a two-parter. And then I could have added like Göbekli Tepe and all that into it. And I was like, nah, it's just too much. We'll see how
I
we
feel
go.
like I like the fact, though, that it's not like a cohesive story.
Yeah.
So you can just drop that knowledge on another episode and it didn't have to follow on from this one. You know
Like,
what
there's
I
so
mean?
much more information with like the flood, antediluvian, like races and
Stop
stuff.
saying big words.
It's just too much.
I love
Like you
it.
can't fit it into one episode.
Well, thank you for sticking around for this episode. Oh, dude, it's all
No,
you.
you're going. You
No,
might
it's
as well
all
just
you.
keep going.
No.
What?
You made me. You do it.
You didn't do anything.
I made you do it because it was easy.
He's right. He called my bluff.
George knows better. This is a throwback to childhood, isn't it? It's just like, you made me do it. It's just like, George just says no, and I go, oh, okay. George is like, I don't want to know. And I'm like, do it. And you're like, do it. Oh, okay. George, do this. No. Okay. Like, that is like a fucking dead end, you know?
Yeah, she's right.
If you hear no, it's not coming out you can hassle you.
Quick, shut it down.
We can
in front
twist
of me.
your arm.
Yeah. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you next time.
See you guys.
See you later.